I forgot how to go.
Politics as usual.
What up? What up? What up? What up? Politicking as usual. We back. It's your girl, Amira B.
It's your boy Life G.
Yes, and our girl Shelly Shell. She had to have a meeting, but she gonna be hopping on soon, hopefully.
A
But we
meeting
just
about a meeting.
you said a meeting about a meeting.
A meeting about a meeting.
I'm crying. That's how meetings be, though. You
Yeah,
ever notice that? Like
yeah,
meetings be meetings about meetings. Like okay,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I see. Okay, yeah, February 5th. Okay, we
Uh,
meet today about that.
and then we'll have a subcommittee meeting about the meeting and the other meeting.
Facts, yo,
It's levels to these meetings.
yo, meetings is very important though. Like, speak. It's funny you said that because I be having a lot of meetings, but I realize like meetings is important if you doing work in the meetings, not if you just bullshit in the meetings. But
Yeah.
if you like doing something each time, like knocking something off the task, those meeting points be important.
Meetings only important when they got snacks.
I'm crying.
But it's a guest and they bring out the good food.
Yo, I love that. I
Yeah,
love an in service, like a full in service.
yeah, facts. You know what I mean? Surprise, I mean, hook me up with them carbs. We got donuts, we got cookies, you know what I mean? Let me in. Let me in.
That's fuel. Like that gets you through the whole. That makes you talk, participate, everything.
Let me in. I'm a participate because I'm gonna stand up and walk and get some more stuff.
I'm crying.
You
That's
know?
what crazy because I was just in a meeting and I was talking to somebody in the meeting and they was like, "Oh, can you get the fruit for me or something like that of that nature?"
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "Yeah, I'll get it." She's like, "Yeah, I don't want to be the first person to open it." I'm like, so I just thought about it. I was like, "Yo, that's funny. Like, nobody ever wants to be the first person to start it." But I was like, the first person to start it is the most important person because after the first person started, everybody's gonna get up. Everybody wants to open the food. Like, why don't we just say it? Like, we all want to like, who the fuck go open?
Nobody don't want to look like the greedy person, the fat person. You know what I mean? Like whatever.
Nobody wants to look like the greedy person or fat person. But yo, I be thinking like, yo, I've been in places where it's like a whole spread and nobody moves.
Mm-hmm.
One time I'm sitting there, like, one time I had to be the first person because I'm like, bro, it's a spread. Why don't y'all want to touch it? It's like, like, no,
Listen,
I want everything that I like over here. Like, that's crazy.
one,
I
I
have
want.
to be the first person to go.
There's a couple of reasons I want to be the first person. One, I want to be the first person because you get the best options. Two, it's set more sanitary because ain't nobody breathed on it, touched it, nothing. You know what I mean?
Facts. That part.
And three, you could always double back real quick because the line is long. Ain't as long if you missed out on something or you ain't got enough hands. You know how you be, especially if it's like one of them small tray joints,
Facts.
like the little small plate. Like, oh, I got to go back up and I missed something. You know what I mean? So you already know what you skipping the line. Like, oh, I just need to grab something real quick. And people let you do that.
Yeah.
So like them the three moves right there.
Facts. Like, yo, I don't mind being the first person.
Not one bit.
I'm sorry. Like,
Especially when you sit down and you get something good, you like,
yeah,
oh, this.
like I'm sitting there like, ain't nobody gonna get up. I'm like, listen, guess it's gonna be me.
Listen, when we worked for the board, I remember going to one of the mixers, and I was there, and it was at the Crown Plaza, now in the DoubleTree.
Oh
But
yeah,
I went to one there, man. They had a spread.
yeah.
They had they, they had two lines, one on each side. both serving the same stuff, but it seemed like people was kind of hesitant to get in the line. But
Mm-hmm.
this other side was like completely empty. Nobody was over there. Man, I hopped out that line so quick. Went to the other side where the line was empty. Lady was like, "Oh, you the only person that came over here. Take some more and everything." Yeah, I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." Yeah,
Right.
like don't play with me. You know what I mean? Like all my pension money going to this.
I was going to say, my thing is they probably got a bonus. So think about it. It don't matter what company it is. It's a company, $1 million company that's making moves. They get donations, bonuses, all types of stuff that the employee, like the smallest employee don't know really what's going on in the books. So they do like a up in the meetings, they be like, we're gonna give them a lunch. Yes, that's your bonus money. Go eat that food. Like
Take a plate, feed your kids.
yeah, like go get that. Like take some home because that's the bonus money, honey.
And then even if you don't eat it, waste it.
Exactly.
Get all your money's worth. You know.
One thing about me, I always got a hungry family member. Trust me, I got somebody to take it to. Trust me.
If not, it is sitting in the refrigerator, but I got my money's worth. You know what I mean? Like, we gonna get our money's worth out of it. We ain't gonna play them games. Like we gonna take full advantage of all this. Like it's no way.
Yeah, I be taking my plate.
Yep.
I don't care.
Be thankful I don't need all the silverware.
Facts, like
Yeah, I'm getting all of it.
yeah, because that's how. Like, I don't know if every black mind think like this, but I know my black mind think like this. I just be like, you owe me anyway. Like I feel like everybody owe me.
Who does that? Oh, Denzel did an interview with Jamie Foxx, and he was talking about this one time he was up for like best actor at the Oscars, and he knew he wasn't going to get it, so he told his wife, "Go grab my jacket. Can you grab my jacket or whatever?" But he was like, he told Jamie Foxx, he said, you know where I'm from? I'm from the hood, so you know we leaving with something. He was like, he took something. Yeah, he's like, I ain't walking away empty-handed. You know what I mean?
Like, around the way, with something. I don't care if it's a pack of napkins. I need those.
What at the Y we used to do luncheons, and we would get Panera. Man, and they would be like individually packed, like snack boxes. So it'd be like a sandwich, fruit, cookies, and everything, and then they would have like water and everything. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to put about 4 or 5 of these to the side. You know what I mean? I just be like, oh yeah, some of my staff is coming late. Put about 4 or 5 of these to the side. Nah, this dinner tonight. You know what I mean? Let me get these. Let me get these chips. Let me get all this. Like I'm about to feed the family off of this.
And wasting food is so crazy to me. Like you're gonna waste the food.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that companies do. Like I had just went to where I went. I think I went to McDonald's. Actually, I went to McDonald's for my mom. Actually, and I was like, dang, the fries was really cool. And I'm like, I wasn't even making it up. Like they really were. Like so, I'm like, oh, can you give me a new fry because these is cool. And then she's like, you gotta give the fry back. She took the fry. All you guys know this happened, but I'm just describing it. She took the fry back and she threw it in the trash. And I was like, that's crazy. So it's like I could have just gave my mom the hot fries and I would have settled for the warm fries because they wasn't for me. I would have just had a little snack. Yeah. But the trash had a snack. Why?
Jay-Z say even the garbage can gets a steak. It'd be like
that's crazy. I'm just like,
but that's like
that's crazy.
You know them little sizzly sandwiches in the window and stuff.
Yeah.
They stamp it with a time. So if they don't sell within a few hours, they all go in the
Throw them
garbage.
in the trash.
Yeah, got like a 6 hour window or something. And if they don't sell,
They
they
should
got
ask their employees. I feel like they should ask their employees, like, yo, it's up to you, because you can reheat it, like, if
yeah.
you want
But
to.
you can put it in the refrigerator real quick. You know what I mean?
Right, like, if you want to. So I feel like you should ask your employees, like, you should still count it as waste, because I understand, like, you have to have a waste count
Yeah.
or whatever. You can still count it as waste, but why actually waste it? It makes sense.
Let me make a double, triple bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich in the morning or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
or don't look at me crazy if I decide I want to make a sandwich and don't want to pay for it today. Like, cause we just wasted 15.
Waste all those sandwiches.
Yeah.
And
Like,
how y'all be treating your employees? Like, I worked in fast food. That was my very first job. So I worked in fast food to education to I also dabbled in healthcare a little bit. I did what's called dietary for a little bit or whatever. And it's just be like the way y'all be treating your employees, y'all be acting like the employees is not the reason why the whole thing is running. Like
yeah.
that don't be making sense to me.
But I find out like it be certain people that be, you know, navigating the boat, but it don't be the people above them that be acting like that. You know what I mean? Like these people get in the positions and it's just that's who they are. Like, you know what I mean? They move like that. Like the company don't always move like that, but the people in those positions be moving like that. And I'm like, y'all weird to me.
Yeah. We
Like
be saying that's what me and my sister be like, yo, I don't know who the owner of Wawa is, but me and my sister always be like, when we get our nasty employee, like, if Wawa knew you was acting like this at their company, like, if they knew what you was doing, you wouldn't have this job. They are not hiring you to act like a buffoon at the job.
listen, I worked at Wawa, right? So I had all this downtime and I was like, I should get a part-time job. Like I ain't got nothing to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm young. I got a job. I'm working. In my little career and everything. But I got mad time on my hand. I ain't got no kid and nothing. So I get this job, and the staff is like struggling because they don't like the store manager.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she like real disrespectful and like she spread the hours out like real thin. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, damn, that's crazy. So I'm like, well, I guess this is why I got the job to talk slick. So
Right. Got the right one.
y'all let me know whatever issue y'all got with it, and I'm putting her on blast for it because you know what I mean.
Right.
I don't need the job. You know what I mean? Like I'm working it,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't really need it. I'm just here.
Mm-hmm.
Chasing some extra money.
Right.
So I would say whatever the issue was and everything. So one day she pulled me in the office and she's like, "What is your problem with me? Like I treat you with respect and blah blah blah." I'm like, "Your problem ain't me per se. My problem with you is the way you treat everybody else. Like you just can't be treating me like this, but you treating them like that. You know what I mean? I'm like, you need to treat us all, with some respect and I'm like, cause they the ones busting their butt for you. You know what I mean? Like they coming in working all these different shifts. I listen, in them fast food places and stuff like that, they don't got no set schedule. But I'm like, I'm only available for this. If I can't work this, then I ain't coming. You know what I mean? Like, don't even put me on the schedule.
Right.
Like, put me on the schedule when you can actually do what I asked of you.
Mm-hmm.
Where they like, oh, I'll take those hours. I'll take those hours. These hours. They jumping all over the place. I said, I ain't having none of that. You know what I mean? And so she couldn't control me with the money because I didn't need it. You know what I mean? And ultimately I ain't need to be there, but
Right.
other people did. So I was just like a voice for the voiceless. Like you know what I mean? Like y'all tripping. Like you tripping. Like
Yeah, like people are not used to you stand. I actually just said it the other day. Like people are not used to you standing up, not for yourself, for your rights. Like people like they have rights up in here, and like they're all getting violated. Like they don't like people not used to people being like, hold up, wait, how you? Nah, that's not supposed to be going down
Yeah.
like this. Y'all just running over people because of their basic needs.
Mm-hmm.
Running over people. I feel like it's mind control a little bit. Like also playing on the fact that, you know, just playing on human behavior too. I feel like masterminds know human behavior.
But
Like
you learn to once you get into like a position of power, you learn to manipulate the staff. You know,
that.
like kind of fall into these categories. So I was telling a couple of staff that I work with, I was saying, I said, you got to know the difference. And I was saying it because they were trying to get hours, overtime hours and stuff. I said, you got to know the difference. I said, if you do the director a favor, then it looks like she owes you. But if the director does you a favor by offering you the hours, then you owe her a favor. And once you start owing her, you can't come from under that thumb because now she know that you at the mercy. Like, you know, once you start saying you got any overtime, like I need to work, I need to work. They know they can send you wherever to do whatever because you chasing the bag versus I'm good. So now they got to come to you as the director, being like, "Hey, I got some hours. You want to work?" And you be like, "All right, I'll do it." Now they owe you. You know what I mean? Like you see the difference.
Facts.
Like
Yeah, like I worked for y'all. Like
I'm
I
gonna
had a
work.
whole ski afternoon.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Like I'm gonna work for myself and take care of it. You know, versus now you can't get from underneath of it because you chasing the money and they know you chasing the money. So they offer you all these shifts and you just gonna keep chasing them down, wherever, and you upset because they not where you want them to be. They not the luxury shifts because they know you want the money. So you gonna take whatever, like
yeah, which is it's funny because we was kind of talking about contracting, like schools hiring contractors to come in to
mhm.
give them skills, mentoring skills, life skills, things that's going to prevent them from being at risk, different things like that. And I just feel like it's a dire need for money management.
Mhm.
I feel like if we not just learned how to count our dollars, I remember doing counting dollars in school. I even remember teaching dollars in the Camden School District with the Eureka math or whatever. But that's not financial literacy and that's not financial management because at the end of the day, like, ain't nothing wrong with some overtime or whatever. Like sometimes you need overtime to scale up or whatever. But what I'm noticing, even in my adulthood, I'm just like, I'm breaking down a lot of stuff because I didn't know a lot of stuff. That's why I'm in this stuff. Like, not to give my faults, my debts, or whatever. I'm trying to figure out uh an excuse, but I'm sitting here like, nah. But if I learned things early on, savings, investments, like if all that stuff was early on, like I probably wouldn't have to sit there and take overtime hours. I probably could just work my regular
Yeah.
30 and go the fuck home. Like,
We was talking about it in the barbershop, and one of the one of the things I had brought up was investments. Like, so when you get a job and they tell you they got a 401, basically they take your money and they invest it in a bunch of different stocks. Like, you don't pick any specific stocks. They ask you, like, do you want to go low, medium, or high risk?
mm-hmm.
And low, you get an even return on your money. Medium, a little bit more risk, but bigger the risk, bigger the reward. And then your high, you get the highest risk, highest reward. So that's the stuff they should be teaching in high school and everything in school in general, because that's the stuff you're gonna have to do as you become an adult. But you can learn to do. You should also learn to be able to do it on your own because I'm watching this video, doing my homework on it. So it's called the S&P 500. So that's like the top 500 companies that stop, you know, that
Right.
you trade in and everything. So you buy into a group that invests into those 500 companies. Not all 500, but like maybe let's say five companies
Mm-hmm.
out of that top 500. You get this return on your investment. So it was saying like they had a investment calculator. So it was saying like if you did 10,000 to initially start, no, let's say 1,000. You did 1,000 to start, and then you did another 500 a month for 10 years. You ended up with like 100,000 dollars.
Which is good, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That
Because you only invested probably in those 10 years, you might have invested like 15,000 or something.
right, and that makes sense. Think about 10 years go so fast.
Yeah,
Like, imagine 10 years from 18. Think at 18.
yeah,
10 years from 18, you'll be 28. You'll just be
yeah.
embarking on this
Now,
magnificent journey. Like,
if you stayed at home and you had a savings as well, or you just getting out of college and everything, or you're finally getting into your career, that's
right,
that's money to purchase your house, that's money towards retirement, paying your student loan off, or maybe buying a car. Like you got options now.
right.
Now let's take it to another level. You started that at 18. Now you're into your 30s, and you might become a parent.
Right.
So you do the same thing for your child.
This is so good. I'm happy you brought that up because now you are able to be, to me, an even better parent. Like, I
Yeah,
just feel like you're better off. You're probably not going to be going back and forth. It's probably not going to be as much baby mama, baby father, baby mama drama because you're in a better space. Like,
mhm. and,
just
and
overall.
the other thing is like we don't do as people. I'm not even going to put it on a race, but people, we don't invest in our early on. We don't invest in like when we have children. We don't do life insurance policies.
Mm-hmm.
We always thinking that's death or like I'm not doing that because
Right. I'm happy you brought that up.
we don't.
Everybody goes.
Yeah, like, oh, they gonna die, they gonna die. Nah, this ain't because they gonna die. This is because they gonna live. So we not really. When you get a whole life policy, once it matures, you can borrow from that money. You don't even have to pay it back. So let's say you have a baby, you put a whole life policy on.
Mm-hmm.
A baby is less likely to die, so it's not going to cost that much money. They can be like, oh, this baby is in good health. This baby going to live X amount of years. So let's say you get it for $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take you 18 years to pay it, but every month you got to pay $100.
Mm-hmm.
But in 2 years, 2 to 3 years, it matured. So now you got $100,000 at your disposal.
That you can borrow from, and right, it can't be taxed or something like
Yeah.
that of that nature. Yeah.
So you got like those type of options. So now, hey, I want to start a business. I borrow some of the money from the life insurance policy to start my business, or I use it to put a down payment on a house,
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature. And now this is how the rich continue to stay rich. They got things of that nature that's working for them, not against them. Like you're paying into this, why not use it?
Yeah.
Because guess what? If you start a 401 and a 403, you borrow against it, but you got to pay it back.
Right.
And if you take it out before retirement age, you're gonna get hit with crazy amount of
Penalties.
taxes. Yeah,
Right. All that. And then also I wanted to add to that is like also with the life insurance policy, you give wealth instead of debt. Like
hmm
you're gonna pass it, like, God forbid. We all would love for elders to pass away at old age and kids be able to, bury their parents. But sometimes it don't happen that way. But if just say normally, if it did happen that way, you're elder now, you pass wealth down to your children instead of passing down debt.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Because let me
it
tell you what
is.
ain't happening. Your debt ain't my debt because my social security number ain't attached to it. So you can call all you want about somebody in my family. I ain't paying nothing. Dirt me with a good.
But yeah, but just imagine, like, man, like,
Like,
just imagine you have a house. Like, I know people who had got house, you know, inherited homes and lost homes that they inherited because they didn't pay the taxes, you know, poor money management, or probably because they also didn't know something. I
yeah,
know people lack knowledge. That's why they lose things.
yeah.
And I'm just, you know, I just feel like, yeah, like this stuff needs to be
Listen,
instilled.
first thing I tell people, living in an apartment, even if you rent a house, is not the same as owning a house.
Mm-hmm.
Like you understand that certain stuff happens when you rent a house, but when you own that house, like I was just telling somebody, when you own a house, you don't like the weather no more. You know what I mean? Because you're afraid something is always going to happen to your house.
But
You know, freak weather. You know, one day it rained, but the rain was going the opposite way. You know what I mean? And now you got a leak in your roof. You know,
mm-hmm.
got to pay to get that fixed. You know, when we had before this snow, we had like them heavy winds and everything. It 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 ripped my gate. So now you got to do stuff like that.
You
You know,
gotta fix your gate, right?
got to pay. You know, this is extra money on top of already paying a mortgage and taxes and things of that nature that you just got to pay. Now you can pay the deductible for some stuff, or you can just pay it out of pocket. Like, what's the difference? You know what I mean? That you damned if you do, damned if you don't. But no matter what, you're gonna pay. Now, if I'm in an apartment or I'm renting a house, hey yo, landlord, yo,
Facts.
damn, bro, your gate just got tore up. Like, you might
Facts.
get that joint fixed.
Everything is on them.
And if they don't fix it, you like, oh, well, I don't own this drink. Like, you know what I mean? I could, my lease is up. I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, so everything is on you. Like, you know.
Yeah. I was watching something on Netflix like last year. It was like a little documentary on like how to like basically have better money management. I
Mm-hmm.
forget what it was called. I watched it because I was like, let me engage in something that's worth me engaging into or whatever. And that was actually one of the points that he was making. Like he was telling everybody, he was like, to each his own. But I recommend not owning. Like I recommend just just having an apartment depending on like whatever your goals are. Like you got to know what your goals are. If you have like I don't know, like if you are an entrepreneur and you're trying to just get your business off, it probably makes sense to just live in an apartment until that goal takes off or whatever, because you're going to be spending money,
Mm-hmm.
investing money into your home
You
that not really going to come back.
people always talk about like what you know rent always going to go up. Well, guess what? On a house, taxes always go up.
Yeah.
Taxes don't go down when you buy a house. Like you buy a house and your mortgage $1,000 a month. You live in a decent school district because you might want to have kids. Oh, your taxes is going up like often because that's how the school district funds themselves is through taxes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your taxes keep going up. They reassess your house. The property value go up. Things of
Mm-hmm.
that nature. So those things keep going up. But then you want to do stuff to your house. So you spend money. You're just spending it differently. So on this side, you're spending money to do stuff to your house. On this side, they just keep raising the rent because they're doing the stuff you're not doing. And
Right. Right.
on this side is in smaller increments. On this side is in big increments. Hey, you getting a fence, $10,000. oh, you want to add a deck on the backyard, another $10,000.
Facts.
Over here, they're like $75 extra a year rent. Okay, you know what I mean? And then over here, they're like, oh, well, you get this tax credit. That tax credit ain't what it is. What they like, I don't. It
I
ain't.
agree with you. Even if I don't know your numbers, I agree with you because what, bro? This shit is not. It's not adding up. I
Yeah,
don't care what you say.
listen. And this the crazy part. Like, I be looking at these tiny houses and everything,
Mhm.
and I'm like, bruh, I'm about to get one. Like, I want one. You know what I mean? Like, I be looking at them, um, RVs. They got more
Yeah,
luxury than
or
an
we just
RV.
right. Like, I might just live off the land because at the end of the day,
Listen, because
shit ain't adding up.
and that's what I was just about to say. The shit really ain't adding up. They When you buy a house, you pay for a house damn near three times over. Three times. Now, you buy $100,000 house, you gonna end up paying $300,000 for it, but in 30 years. And
Mhm.
that I could buy an RV for $100,000, and I ain't gonna be paying for more than 10 years.
Right.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, it is. Like, and I like.
And I could trade it in and go get a new one if I want in 10 years or something. Like,
Yeah, and you can move. You can travel. You can do
yeah,
whatever you want.
yeah. I could travel. I could, sit it still because they got
Right.
they got so much going on. I be watching them shows like this is crazy.
I know. I see the people that got like the double decker one
Yeah, I would
too, like on top.
with a
Yeah,
nice little
it is like yeah, there's many different ways to live. Like I would prefer living
like,
in a less overspending lifestyle, like overspending, putting money where it don't really make sense. Like you should be like, how the heck? That don't even make sense. Like,
yeah, like
but they're taking it from you. Like what?
I'm spending what for what? Like this this
Yeah.
this ain't adding up. Like
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I'm
like
cracking up.
and that go into like how we was kind of talking off camera about like the pandemic and the cost, the rising cost of everything, and what you were saying about the new minimum wage and everything.
Right. Like $15 is basically like $25 an hour.
Yeah,
And then when I think about that, because then I actually say this to people, I've said this to multiple people. Yo, that's crazy. We all in different fields making the same amount of money. How is that possible if somebody who has education versus somebody who don't have education, somebody no education is making probably more than the person with education. That's what's not making sense to me. I feel like how is that? How are y'all even allowing that to happen when people pay hundreds of thousands to basically make more in the employment world?
hmm
But somebody, and I understand that there's so many different ways to go ahead about it, especially in the today's world. But nah, somebody gotta fix that. That doesn't make sense.
like
Everybody in the same, everybody different fields making the same amount of money. Why I made that conclusion by lifestyles. Like I don't know everybody money, but I came to the conclusion because I'm like, all right, we kind of all kind of doing some of the same things. Like,
yeah.
so that means like your pocket is kind of like I don't know your pocket all the way, but our pockets is similar.
But the pandemic ruined a lot of that because if you was especially in them fast food joints, you see them signs. I was like, damn, they paying that much. Like if you was willing to go work at McDonald's during the pandemic or something, they was like $18 an
That's
hour,
true.
$19 an hour.
Yeah, I remember that. I
Yeah,
remember that.
like damn, to flip some
Yeah,
bird.
well, if that's that, then that means 30. 19 to me, I just feel like 19 is a good price for anybody. I feel
Yeah,
like that is. But okay, so the next level in terms of leveling in your education and your experience, It should be starting at 30,
But imagine you
35.
17, 16, 17, your first job, and they offer you 17, 19 dollars an hour.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. That's why it's not adding up to me neither. Because when I got my first job at 15, I was making $5.25. I felt like a 15-year-old girl. Like,
Yeah,
and that I felt fine. That's fine. But like,
How long
imagine
do
like
you
you
for
said,
people?
okay, now I'm a 15-year-old girl. I'm making $19 an hour compared to an adult that's making $25 an
yeah.
hour after they did all this stuff to have a career, they tenure and everything.
And
Like,
that go back to what you said about learning about money because now you're giving a 17-year-old $19 an hour. They don't know what the hell to do. They buying
no,
all man, they buying all bull. Like
right. I lost one when I lost one of my checks when I was in high school. One of my McDonald's checks. I didn't cash it, brought it to work, trying to buy cookies. Man, I cried all night long. It was like $300, $500 check or something like that.
Hello,
All
beautiful
cash.
people. Hello, hello.
yo,
Hey, Shelly Shells.
welcome
I'm
to the
back.
mix.
She's
What's
here.
going on?
Welcome.
You know, it was free shells until we saying it backwards. Now shells
Right.
free. You know what I mean?
I'm free. They freed me after an hour and 15 minutes of my life that I can't get back. But I got free pizza.
Yo, we were just talking about that, right?
So are we talking about how employers always want to be giving their employees pizza?
We just
Yo,
about
they
food.
always order pizza because that's the most easiest thing to order.
It's cheap, it's satisfying. Oh, but yours look like it got topping though.
Yeah, but like I said, like me and like said, if your employer buys food and spreads it out for you, walk up there and get it. Take some home. Give some to your mom, your dad. I don't care.
Yeah, you gonna waste my time? I'm gonna eat your food.
Yeah, I want my plate. I don't care.
I was walking out the door like this. All right, see y'all.
Yeah, give me my plate.
Yeah, I mean one for me, one for.
Let me go on D&D.
But yeah, nah, I think that like the financial thing, like you know these jobs and what they paying is like is it's killing everybody because we can't operate. You know they raising the price. You know, but not everybody coming up. Like some people is coming up. You know, like minimum wage just went up beginning January 1st to $15. You know, but not everybody else is coming up to that, or not everybody else's money increased. So in people's mind, they're like, well, everybody getting a raise. Nah, not everybody got a raise. Just the people who was making under 15 got a raise. You know.
Yeah, I feel like a $5 raise would be good for everybody. Just wherever you are, plus 5.
I'm raising my hand. Y'all can tell I just came from a meeting, right? I'm on like, so I feel like we was just talking. Somebody just made a post about this is to what y'all talking about, and they was talking about how quality is going down and this and that and all these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the problem is to what Amira was attesting, being a teenager, right, making teenager money. You got like all these, like it's just so out of order where you have young people making more than adults with less responsibility. So it's just like the whole, I'll say, algorithm is like thrown off because it's making nothing has any value anymore because there's nothing that has to be worked towards being gotten. Like when you're a teenager, you making $2 an hour and you excited because you're just making money and you're working your way up the financial, success ladder. But now it's like you got children living in a house with their parents and making more than the parents. It's kind of like
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What is going on with that? Like, so it's kind of like nothing is a value anymore. We were talking about valuable things, and I'm just like, it sounds messed up, but not really because it's just it's just the law of balance. Like there has to be haves and have-nots because if there's no have-nots, there's no haves, and if there's no haves, there's no have-nots. So they kind of like balance each other out, and it's like the goal is to go from a have-not to a have, or whatever the case may be. And it's just like that is all messed up. Just like when I see children wearing designer, it's just kind of like it doesn't
So
It's not.
we were talking about that earlier shows. We were saying that like they should have taught like financial literacy in high school and stuff, or in school in general, because it don't
Mhm.
it don't equate. You know what I mean? Like now you got, like you said, you got a 15, 16-year-old making just as much as probably their parent, if their parent don't have some type of education or experience. They,
Right.
you know, their parent been working all their life to get to that point, and here you come as a kid. Because the rules just changed. Now we make the same amount of money. You know what I mean? And you don't know what to do with your money, or you don't know the value of it. So, we take our encounters differently. And yeah, I want you to live as a child, but you should also see the blessing and be able to help your family. Like
Uh-huh.
we, I think I don't want to put it on a race, but people in general typically don't. Um, well, I'll say black people are less likely to live generations in a house, you know, and build up. We tend to, as soon as we get a couple dollars, we out versus
Mhm.
building
But
up.
we will live generations when we all broke as hell and don't have nothing.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody will be piled up into a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment where everybody broke. But like you said, the second you get some money, oh, I gotta go get my own thing.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
You
The niggas
ride
ain't got no problem living generation when they ain't got no money and they
you
ain't got
ride
no
into these
where to go.
more affluent neighborhoods, and you be like, yo, why this house got 6 cars? Well, that's because they live in 3 generations in the house. They
And
done
that should be blowing myself. Sorry.
they
I try to tell people, listen, can I full disclosure, right? I live in a 2 bedroom apartment. At one time, I had 7 people. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. And a cat.
And a
In a
cat.
2 bedroom apartment, right?
Mm-hmm.
I pitched the idea on numerous occasions. Like, do you know how we could be living if we all just took our money and like bought a big ass house on like a couple acres of land? Like, do you know what type of quality of life we could have?
Facts.
But
so
instead,
so shells.
everybody wanted to do their own thing. So now you have these people over here, and then you have these people over here in a low income. Like they don't understand that when you pull your resources, everybody has a better quality of life. And that's what I think they're not getting. Yeah, everybody has their own place, but y'all living in the projects. We living in low incomes. We living in real terrible neighborhoods where we could be living in the Morritowns and the Voorheeses and the Cherry Hills and the wherever else is, that's affluent neighborhoods if everybody pulled their resources together. Like, but
I
you
just
can't
rolled
tell
past
me,
these nice ass houses in Woodbury. They was not. I was like, damn, they nice. Like, not the
girl,
part of
You
Woodbury.
talking about Cooper Street, pride. Cooper Street. Them houses on Cooper Street,
I was
baby.
like, they was nice,
I call
big.
them I call them big
Damn.
houses because they look like where the slave owners lived and like
I'm like, that's.
the big houses.
I'm like,
But
damn, that's
that's
nice.
that was another thing we were talking about. Like being able to, financially provide. And where we would live. So that you don't have to, like we was talking about, working overtime and everything. So like if we combined our lives, our our economics, we wouldn't have to do the overtime, or we would have the option to be able to explore the world, or do more things, because financially we made it make sense, versus
Mm-hmm.
you paying 1,200 for a 1 bedroom, I'm paying 2,000 for a 2 bedroom,
Yo,
and we could all just be living together.
that's
Do you
crazy.
know what type of house we can have for $4,000 a month?
Mhm.
Yeah, like, yo, rent is high. I just said, I'm like, yo, this is my last year paying rent as one person. Like, me and Shelly had this conversation in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's really making sense to me now. Like, why? That doesn't make sense to be in that as you age, it doesn't make sense to be in a partnership and split rent. Not when, what? That means that we could be, that's money in our pocket. Like we could be,
Yes.
like,
and I always say, like, we could be, like, all the things like this name, like, we could be doing so much more with our lives if we had one big space in a great neighborhood, which is a better quality school system, better quality water and just air and all those things that we go without, living in the slums and the ghettos, just so that we can have our own, so we can say, I did it by myself, ain't nobody help me do nothing, because y'all know we love seeing that. And then you're barely paying any money. You're paying maybe like $1,000 a month, everybody, and you're having this great life, whereas though all the other money you have is just straight to the face. Do you know what you could do with that? You know what type of vacations you could take? You know what kind of car you can drive?
You know why?
And that's the thing. People think that other races are just more rich. No, they're not more rich. They're more rich because they put all their money together. So collectively, they have more money than us. Their households consist of the mom, the dad, the children, the grandparents. So their household median income is way greater than ours, because our households is primarily single moms, one income. Like,
yeah. I gotta. I'm sorry, Life.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I was just sitting here thinking. One of the reasons why I feel like in 2024 is far fetched for us to think that smart, because we don't want order. We don't want, like, now I understand that. Now I understand the Bible. One book, one rule. We should be doing. We should all be in order, a discipline. Everybody wants to be, and I understand freedom. Yes, like I'm one free bitch. I get it, but we lack discipline real bad. We are, like, that's why we don't have anything. And oh, you don't want nobody to tell you this. Oh, you don't want nobody to have to tell you, or maybe you might see me. This is the type of stuff that makes us mad. Maybe you might see me doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing, because I went and ordered a bike, and I got to pay the PS&G bill or whatever. And you be like, girl, why you ain't, you supposed to pay the bill. People don't want to hear people say that stuff to them.
Well, we don't.
Or whatever.
Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. People don't want to take direction.
Yeah.
Especially adults. Adults don't want to take direction from another adult, especially someone who they feel as though they should be directing, right? Like, I'll use my family dynamic, for instance, because hopefully none of them hear this.
Well, hopefully.
I'm the youngest in my family dynamic, right? With my siblings and everything. Like, I'm the youngest. But with me being the youngest, I am still the most successful financially, and just like mindset, like progressively, like it's me. But because I'm the younger sibling, they feel as though that they should be in control because they're older. But it's just kind of like, no, you know how they say, just get behind the person who got the mission. I got the mission for us all. Why don't y'all just want to get behind me? And the problem is a lot of us in our culture, and I think it has to do with the fact that so many of us, that just culture-wise, we come from poverty, right? So everybody just wants to say that they have something that's theirs. And I get it. But it's just kind of like, I done lost my whole train of thought. Get behind the person with the mission. If I had the mission with everybody, but people are selfish. People don't want to be, like you were saying, Amira, they don't want to have discipline, and they don't want to listen to nobody. So an adult don't want to feel like their younger sibling is telling them what to do with their money. That'd be an issue. But it's like, bro, you shouldn't be doing that with your money. Like, you say you want these things, but then you turn around and you doing this. Like,
right.
And then a lot of it is because people are so selfish. It's really sad, but a lot of us are unreliable too. So it makes the dynamic of us pulling our resources together, because going into something like that with unreliable people could really have you up shit's creek, because next thing you know, you're going into this $4,000 or $5,000 mortgage in this big house, expecting everybody to pull their weight, but then niggas want to do other stuff with their money, don't want to handle their responsibilities, and then you stuck having to still work overtime and triple time because now you have to pick up the weight of unreliable people. And so it's kind of like, even though it sounds good to want to do that, when you look at the motherfuckers that's around you that you will want to do it with, you be like, I don't know, because y'all niggas don't be doing what y'all supposed to do. Like,
I literally just said that the other day. Like, how is it fair for me to give you my resources, my oxygen that I worked for, so that you can breathe again and you have nothing to put back into me? So now I'm shallow breath over here. That doesn't make sense to me. People lack resources. They take from you and it's not working. It's like they're unreliable and they don't have any resources because they refuse to stretch their brain and stretch their mind and use their just natural abilities to figure stuff out. Like, and it is those type of, when you talk about impoverished people, where you come from culturally, and it's a collective of us, because I've been in spaces where people don't want to recognize the impoverished, and they, that's not true. I've been in spaces where that's not real. That is very much so real. So a lot of people are lacking resources, which is why life view is like, we leave. I feel like we leave because so many people are lacking resources and also are so unreliable. It's best to leave and come back.
Can I say something to that?
Go ahead.
So I don't know if y'all discussed this already, but we were discussing it in our chat, and we were talking about polygamy. And I feel like this is the reason why polygamy is becoming so. Did y'all talk about this already? But it's going to segue into it. This is the reason why polygamy is becoming so prevalent, is because people want to pull their resources to have a better life. But the problem is that one thing that I realized that I will say the devil tricks us out of so good is what family means, right? So people are having to build families, polygamy, with strangers because people don't understand culturally. They don't understand the importance of the family dynamic. Like, my nigga, like, what is you doing? Like, me, like, the difference between other cultures and us, everything that they do individually is for the family. Nobody operates selfishly in other cultures. We don't operate for the family. Like, everything I do is for my family. And I expect everything that everybody else in this family do is for the betterment of the family. Because I don't know why we just think that the family ends with us. Like, we don't have kids, we don't have nieces, we're not gonna have grandkids. Like, it's the family. Like, Jay-Z only, like, I don't know who came up with the whole OTF, but Black people have been tricked and bamboozled to think that, oh, blood ain't thicker. All that dumb shit that we say, oh, blood ain't thicker than water. And you could meet somebody tomorrow that got better intentions for you, for somebody that you... No, cut all that shit out. I am one person who believes in family over everything. And my family is the motherfuckers who I was born into the bloodline with. So, not saying that you don't have extended family, that you don't love your friends and everything like your family. But if your family dynamic ain't right, it's just like, and that's what I feel like is the biggest problem for Black people, is that we got away from family. Like, bro, like, in certain cultures, you can't be with somebody and be dissing their sibling or their mom or like that. That don't go. Like, that don't fly over there. Like, you don't ever come before their family. So, I don't give a damn how dysfunctional they are as a family. No outsider comes before that. Now, we don't even call our family, and we bring a bunch of outsiders in and talk about, oh, this is my family, and you wonder why you can't get nowhere in life.
We got tricked in, like, the 70s with welfare. Yeah, because even to this day, Black people are still one of the most married groups out of all races, as far as staying together and everything. But when we got into the 70s and we got into the welfare and them pushing the agenda that, hey, Black woman, you don't need this Black man, and they started pushing women's agenda, you could be independent. you know, you basically got the opportunity to, collect a welfare check and not have the man, but they told you in order to collect this welfare check, this man can't be in the house, which separated the family. We were all in the same community. Your cousin lived down the street, your grandma lived around the corner. We were a collective, so when they say, the neighborhood was a family and it take a village, that's because
It really was, bro. Like I come from that
everybody
shit.
was related, like literally, like if somehow, your aunt might have dated, your neighbor, so he was kind of like your uncle, you know what I mean? Like it but when we started getting separated by the government, for financial reasons and everything, it tore us apart because
The government did a number on us.
we
Yeah, that's why I'm suing the government.
you know
Like I'm
we
over this
we
fucking case.
downplay the importance of a male in the house, because we say, as independent women, we got this, we take care of this, but you know some battles is meant to be fought by the man. It's not saying that the woman's a pain and it don't matter, but the man is there to, alleviate that type of stress and don't put that emotion on it and let the man carry that weight, but we value the opinion, and that's when you're supposed to pillow talk. You know what I mean? Like, babe, what do you think? You know what I mean? And ultimately the man to make the decision, but we get so led by emotion, it's just like, I'm putting this man on child support. Like, how is
Yeah,
child support?
like it don't even be making sense. The child support stuff, like when they be going to court and stuff, the decisions actually don't make sense, and also you could actually just make those decisions yourself. So that goes to show you how basically you're really not even an adult because you can't make a decision by yourself. That's
But
how I feel.
Baby, that part right there, we got a lot of grown children running around, and they so grown until it comes time to be responsible. I had a situation back when I had the 7-person occupancy. I had a situation where it was like, you don't treat me like a kid. Excuse me, you are currently unemployed.
That's a kid.
You don't you are currently unhoused because you did not handle your responsibilities by paying your bills. You are living under my roof in which I am taking care of you financially, because if I'm paying the bills and you are living here, that means I'm taking care of you. You are a child.
you
So
are
Yes,
my,
don't tell me not to treat you like a child.
you are
yes.
my
Adults
dependent.
handle their responsibilities. So if you are not
A
handling your
dependent.
responsibilities,
If you
then
want to
you
say
are a
dependent,
child. And
yes.
I'm
You are
going
my
to treat you accordingly. And it's
you are
not
my
to belittle
dependent.
you, but it's just to help you grow up. Like, you have so many grown adults who need to be remothered, but they don't want to accept that, and they don't want to be remothered by another adult because they just feel
Yeah.
like they grown. I'm grown. No, you're not.
And I think that, like, it's crazy because it's just another one of those linchpins in order to keep us down. Because how can you run up $100,000 in credit card debt and nothing to happen but bad credit, but let you not pay child support? Why can't you go to jail for that?
Facts.
Like, you could go to jail for child support. Like, you know, I've probably told this story a million times, but like, you gonna give me a parole officer for child support? What crime did I commit? It's not even that I ain't paying child support. Like, I got a PO, so you already got me in the system, and I've never done nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but if I do something, or if I'm behind on a payment, you're you have the ability to arrest me because I can't make a payment. Forget that I fell on hard times, that I'm trying to work it out. I'm trying to figure it out. Let me get pulled over, or my livelihood is driving. I get so far behind on child support, I lose my license. Like, where that makes sense at? But I could run up a hundred
And
thousand.
you losing, yeah.
I could
And
run
you
up
lose
a
your
100,000
passport
credit card debt though.
and
It's
leave the
crazy.
country.
Like, so when you talk about like building an extended family, or trying to move in with other people and everything, I think like I think sometimes people don't have a vision. Some people I get, even though they family, sometimes you just all can't live under one roof. Well, they got options for that. You buy an apartment building, and we equally own parts of it. Everybody got their own space. You know what I mean? Like we don't got to be literally under the
Or
same roof.
buy the land. Like that's my goal. Buy the land and
Hmm.
put three family homes on the land, four family homes on the land. We all live together but separate. Because one thing about me, because I always think about it too, but I'm like, nah, I don't want to keep living with all my little babies all the time. I need a little breather room. So like, I always be like, we need our own joint with one community pool we all go to, the four homes, but I need my own little
I,
section.
But even with that, if that is the goal, then you just gotta know that we gotta all come together for this amount of time and pour these resources, and then we get this house. All right, now y'all go over there,
yeah.
and then we
Right.
So,
get this house. Now y'all go over there, and then we all like, you know what I'm saying? We all
so
set.
I got a
Right.
saying, you know, is a short term discomfort for long term comfort. You
Hmm.
know, and we don't believe in that. So we say this, but if you tell your friends and your family that means you gotta put $200 up a month, they gonna be like, "Oh nah, I can't give up." That's like giving up your Starbucks. That's like not going out to dinner twice a month. You know what I mean? Like so that you can afford to put this money aside, so that we could as a group could collectively put up enough money to go purchase this house or purchase this land.
That.
And move forward like that. But I watched this YouTube video. It was like a bunch of young black guys. They saved up their money for like 2 years, and they bought a property. They bought a income property.
Hmm.
You know what I mean, to make money. But they was like, yo, we be buying bottles and we be doing this, and they was like, we put it together, like you know what I mean. And now they got income. They got jobs, but they're working towards more properties. But you know, that's the mission. Like to eventually you work like some people say they eventually don't want to work for nobody. Well, honestly, I'm always work for somebody because somebody gonna have to carry my benefits because benefits is mad expensive. You know what I mean? Unless I get rich, like hit the lottery rich, I'm gonna work for somebody at least to carry my benefits. But you ain't getting more out of me than whatever I signed up for. Whether I signed up for 20 hours or I signed up for 32 or 40, you ain't getting not a minute
Right.
more. You
Ain't nothing wrong
definitely
with a job, baby.
I
yeah.
love that you said that, like, because I feel like we have to think realistically with these. So, two things I was going to say, like with this rewriting your narrative journey that I'm on. What I noticed that in this space, you have to re learn to love yourself, right? And what I'm noticing now is that being committed to loving yourself is very much different than being committed to doing what you have to do for yourself, right? So when you were saying like basically, and the reason why I broke it up like that, because we're talking about impoverished minds. Most likely a mind that is impoverished learned to hate themselves. So you have to relearn to love yourself, right? But in that space, you start to give yourself a lot of different things that's going to bring you joy, right? And I'm just talking from my own space. Now I know what gives me joy. I know what brings me happy. I know this, but now that's not enough just to be committed to yourself, because now I need to be committed to what I have to do. I have to save 2 years so I can get an investment property like the story you just heard, as opposed to, oh, maybe, I'll use this. Like maybe I was getting long nails. Those nails now they cost like $100 and something dollars. Maybe I was getting long nails because it makes me feel good, it makes me be flashy or whatever it makes you feel. You might have to sacrifice that from where you are, because you weren't born with the silver spoon. So I was just talking about this with somebody else. The fact that we weren't born with the silver spoon, we do not have access to the things that we are seeing. It's not our reality. So you might have to do your own nails, or or learn how to put little hearts on yourself, or diamonds yourself, or whatever, because at the end of the day you're not going to get the investment property to give you income, so that you don't have to work overtime for the rest of your life. And I just like that you said, like, I'm always gonna. I like that you just like, I'm going to work, whatever. Because I was just telling somebody else, like, I really just want six figures, like 150,000. Me, I will be okay until I feel like I'm not okay. Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like a knowing a reasonable thing compared to you is very important, as opposed to wanting this big. And I'm not saying don't chase your dreams and that you can't have them, because you can, but you have to base some things in reality as you allow miracles to happen. That's all I want to say.
You want to know what I just thought of with both of y'all talking? The reason why I feel like it's so hard for us in our community to, like Life was saying, they don't teach you financial literacy in school. Another thing that I feel like is so trivial, and you would think that it's just something that's just so common sense. A lot of people don't amount to much in our culture because they don't know how to devise a plan. Like they don't know that a plan is an actual like process. Like we don't know process. Like you have to really write it out and break it down. Like when I first moved on my own, right? I literally it took me, I moved on my own a lot later than a lot of people that I know, simply because I just was like, oh my God, like da 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 da, like I didn't think I would do it, blah blah blah. But then when it came time to do it, like I literally had to devise a plan, write it out. Okay, this is what I want. What I want costs this much. Okay, I need to have it by this date. Okay, so I make this much every bi-weekly. So in order for me to get this amount of money by this date, I gotta save this amount of money from this check. Wrote it all down and broke it down. Boom. Like people, like you literally can have and achieve any. I don't give a damn how far fetched you think it is. You can achieve it as long as you have an actual plan. Like you break it down to the smallest step. A lot of us don't know how to like plan something. A lot of us really just be flying by the seat of our pants, like all the time. Like I always tell, excuse me, I tell Sanaya, back in the day, what did they used to always tell us? Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. I tell Sanaya, you have to plan your life, because if you don't plan your life, you're just going to be victim to your life just happening, and it's going to be out of your control. If you don't plan your life, somebody will plan it for you. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? So she's right now wanting to get a car, right? Because child can't keep a car to save her life. But now she has to get a car. So she knows that she needs this amount of money to get a car that she wants. So she knows that she makes this much every week. So in order for her to get this car, she has to take this much out. So she's steady weekly saving her money, and she's seeing it grow. So she's seeing her plan work. But I feel like so many of us, especially the younger ones, like that we don't have any plans. Even I can even speak for myself. I'm not even just gonna say the younger ones. Even for myself, a lot of times I'd be like, oh, I want to do this, 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 but I never actually devised a legitimate plan on what I need to do to get to where I'm going. And I'm wondering why a year then went by, 2 years, where's you 2 years, Jesus, that went by, and I'm still talking about what I want to do when I could have had it done already. Had I just planned it out and just started knocking stuff off, like.
So, we sorry to cut you off, Shelly.
No, you good. I was done.
I think we tend to have we live in a right now society, and we want the immediate rewards. So things that are long term don't come with as much reward. So we tend to not favor those things. But that's when you hear people say celebrate the small victories. You got to celebrate the small victories along the way, because that's the motivation to get you to the ultimate goals, or the longer term goals. So when we talk about you know something that we could do in a week or a month versus a year, we got to celebrate the goals that's getting us halfway there. All right, I'm halfway there. I don't save X amount of dollars. We got to celebrate that. Versus us just being so, um, you know, like nah,
Looking
that's
for
6 more.
instant gratification.
Yeah, or that's we look at it like it's not 6 more months. And when we talk about like vision and foresight to make a plan, we don't see that. What I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't have the company of people. When we talk about our people, we don't have a company of people that have done it before us. So sometimes we got to be the first.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like when
Going all over to my joint.
I moved out of my mom's house, I didn't ask anybody anything. You know what I mean? Like I just was like, I'm out. You know what I mean? I knew that I made enough money. You know what I mean? I knew I could carry it. I just was like, I'm out. I didn't have no other justification besides like wasn't like my mom was treating me any type of way. But if I'd have known what I know now, I'd have stayed to help bring my mom up, and then I would have eventually moved out on my own because that would have brought bringing her up would have brought me up too. Because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't move out with like a crazy savings or anything. No, I just had a couple dollars and knew that I got paid next week. You know what I mean? Like, and that was it. But I think like having a vision or having people you can talk to who've already done it. Because we got a lot of attitude of I don't need no help. I know what I'm doing until they get in that situation and then they need your help and I don't know what I'm doing because they
Mm-hmm.
need, they need your money or they need your they need something that you got versus let me teach you now before you get to it. Like I give a prime example. My niece moved out. You know, she's older. She's like 20, 27, 28.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why are you moving? Your mom is barely here. You basically got to rent the house by yourself. You got 2 kids, pregnant with a third. I'm like, why is you moving? Like, you paying all these bills that you could be paying at your mom's, and you still, my niece is at my sister house all the time. You know what I mean? Like, you left for what? To have bills because you still at your mom's all the time. You know what I mean? So I tried to explain to her like, I get you want some freedom. Go get a room. You know what I mean? Like, go take a day or two. Go get a room. You know what I mean? But you know, if we're trying to build something, or you're trying to build something for your future, this is the discipline part. You know what I mean? This is
Uh,
where the short term discomfort comes into play because I'm not saying short term is a month. Short term might be a year, but
mm-hmm.
now you can go buy a house. You know what I mean? You got kids. Your income tax check is probably crazy. You know what I mean? Like you
Woo.
got options, but
I'm ready to
you
get
know,
pregnant so I can get me some more income tax.
right? So it's just hard to explain to people once they got their mindset that this is what they're going to do because they don't, they can't see nothing. They got the horse, they got the blinders on. Everything is
Mm-hmm.
just I'm so focused on this. Even though what you're saying makes sense, I'm just focused on that. Like, and I think that's a tough thing to get into. You know what I
People
mean?
don't want to be taught. I feel like I don't understand why in our culture we feel so devalued if we don't know something. Where not knowing something is is a great thing because it's an opportunity to learn something that you don't know. But in our culture, we feel like less than if we don't know. So we so often just walk around pretending that we know when we really don't know. And we do such a disservice to ourselves instead of just saying, I don't know, and actually learning. Like, if you don't know how to budget and save money, or if you don't know how to devise a plan, and you see somebody who did what it is that you want to do, ask them how to do it so that they can help you. Don't go around pretending that you know and don't know. Just even like, yo, there's so many people out here who don't know how to read and write. They don't know how to read and write. And instead of just saying, yo, I don't know how to read, and getting taught how to read and learning how to read, you'll just go your whole life not knowing how to read because you feel like you're less than if you say you don't know how to read. No, you're less than if you go your whole life never fucking learning how to read. It's nothing wrong with not knowing something. There's something wrong with knowing you don't know something and never doing nothing about it. That's the problem. And I don't understand why we feel like we done took this fake it till you make it shit way too far. Like, no, let's not keep faking it. Let's just actually fucking make it, okay?
So I'll give you an example, and just to, give a opposite side of the coin. When you do reach out trying to get help in, certain situations, in situations, and the person is unresponsive, it kind of deters you. Like last year after my birthday, I was like, all right, I'm gonna give me a trainer. You know what I mean? I'm gonna end the year with a bang. I'm gonna give me a trainer, start working out. So I reached out to a couple people. You know what I mean? And so I seen one of my homies had posted somebody that, like, I think he said was like either family or a family friend. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna reach out to Bull because I'm cool with him. I'm really close with him, so I'm gonna reach out. You know what I mean? So I've reached out, and he was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I got you. What's a good number to reach you at?" So I sent him my number. He's like, you know, "What time can I call you?" I tell him what time. Nothing. No call, no nothing. So I reached back out like, "Yo, what happened?" You know what I mean? Like, and, he's like, "Oh, my bad. I was busy. I'm gonna get to you. I'm gonna get to you." I'm trying to give you my money, but I got to keep doing all the reaching.
That's because a lot of people be pump faking.
Yeah, so I moved
Just
on.
because you know how to do something does not mean this is what you're supposed to do for a living.
Yeah, so
and I think that's where like the problems with that, like people not being responsive comes in there because people be pump faking. So yeah, just because I lost, listen, I was 211 and I got down to 155. Does that qualify me to be a personal trainer? Absolutely not. It don't. So I'm not about to sit up here and be acting like I'm about to go on this. I lost this amount of weight. If you want to know how to lose the weight, I can help you because I can't. Because I don't have time.
Now listen, he had a spot and everything. Like he opened up a space, had so. But what he should have said is, "Bruh, I only want to train women." That's what he should have said. You know what I mean? Because that's that's the only people he trained. That like looked on the social media. After he only got women on his page, no men, no nothing. You know what I mean? So reached out to somebody else. Oh, just go on this little app, book with me. I'm gonna get to you. All right, say less. You know what I mean?
A lot of people are afraid to reject people. I've been on the other side of that, and I had somebody asked me, and I felt so terrible about it. Somebody asked me like if I could do their hair, and it was just like I wanted to just like be like, nah, I don't do hair no more. Which would have been easy to say, no, I don't do hair no more. But then you're going back and forth like, oh, I probably could just do it or da 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 da. But it's kind of like you be afraid to tell the person who's reaching out to you because you feel like they're seeking you for your help. So you don't want to tell them no. When in reality, you really just don't want to do it. So you kind of like end up just falling by the wayside and not. Tanya, if you see this, I'm sorry.
So what I learned last year was that the easiest reply is no, because you can always go back and say yes. But if you say yes, you don't always go back and say no. You know what I mean? You regret it. You know what I mean?
But the thing about it is that I feel like people know that they're not going back to say yes. That's why it makes it hard for them to say no.
But that's
like, nah, because I don't want to do it.
But at least you just said no versus saying yes and don't want to do it, and it shows that you don't want to do it. But
what if you don't say nothing at all?
I mean, I respect that too. But like, don't gas. Like, I'm trying to spend my money. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm paying for a service, I didn't flinch at the price. You know what I mean? When you said, "Oh, it's gonna cost X amount of this or whatever," you know what I mean? I just when we link it, you know what I mean? Because if I'm paying, then you know what I mean. You on my time, not I'm not on your time. Like you know what I mean. We gonna meet during the hours I want to, not I don't wake up till 2 o'clock and you gonna train me. You know what I mean? Take time. You know what I mean? Nah.
But
I'm
see,
not-
and some people probably recognize that from the way that you approach them that you mean business, and that might frighten a lot of people who don't really mean business, because
yeah.
you know got some people, like I was saying, they be pump faking, not that they can't do it or they don't do it, but it's just like everybody's not really like doing business like how they say they are. We've talked about this in a previous show, like
Yeah.
everybody just think they business, but you really just out here running a hustle just to get a little couple dollars.
Mhm.
But when you come across somebody who really means business and they're approaching you for business, it can't make you like a little
Yeah.
shut up, because you know that you can't dick them around like how you could do anybody,
My,
everybody else.
as my homie say, he call it. He said a lot of people out here got glorified hobbies. You know what I mean?
And I think it's the government fault. It's just to spin it back around.
Not it's the government's fault. I'm crying. Wait though. Go ahead, explain, because I need to.
I'm just saying, like, what would make you if you? I'm gonna be honest. If
Listen,
you
everybody,
don't
just
have
FYI, Amira is suing the government. Okay.
yeah, because if you don't have to do something, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna do it. So what I'm trying to say is, we work because we have to work to pay for our lifestyle, to pay for everything that
What you
costs.
say, Orlando Brown earlier in the text message?
Yeah, like exactly.
He
And
said fruit. We paying for fruit.
why? Why are we paying for fruit and water? That doesn't make sense. So now the fact that I gotta pay for water, fruit, roofs, gates, floods, shoes, boots, everything. The fact that I gotta pay for everything. I also have a minimum wage check, and I have 3 children with no father. This is why it's the government's fault. Now I have to go into my
right.
skill box. Shit, I'm not doing a little pedicure. Book me like 2 people.
Manicure.
Yeah, like a little exactly my bad. Little, a little manicure, right? I'm not doing a little mani and pedi or whatever. Like, and now I'm booking like 3 clients. And now on top of that, I got 3 kids, 3 clients, my whole other job. Now I got a fifth, 4 more people coming in because I do a good job. But like you say, I can't manage it because I don't really got a plan devised. Like, there's a lot going on. All of this stuff is why.
Can I say something?
Yes.
All right. Having 3 kids and making minimum wage, I don't want to say that that's the government fault. I don't want to do that. I don't want to say that's the government fault.
I don't know. The more I kind of disagree. Just on the strength that the more kids you have, the more subsidies you get.
Still not the government's fault.
No, it's not the government.
The government don't force
tax.
you to take their money. They just
Oh.
have it available for those who want to indulge.
I think
We're not going to say, because I don't want to absolve people of their poor decision making, knowing that you don't have the resources that you need to have to live the lifestyle that you want to live. So we're not going to say that it's the government
no,
fault.
but the government. I don't know because the government is responsible because see sometimes we give people too much credit for believing that they want to live beyond what we want them. We think they should be living. But when in all actuality, some people are just really comfortable being where they are in life. Like I've seen generations where the grandma was on welfare raising her kids, the mom was on welfare raising the kids, and now the daughter is on welfare raising the kids because that's the vision, that's the plan.
I was talking about this. I was talking about this when it comes to financial stuff, and I say, because I was on Twitter, I think, or X or whatever Threads, having a little rant. Like, when you get online now, everybody's kicking financial advice and how to be successful. And if you want to make this, you want to do that. I have this business, I make this. But for real, I feel like a lot of us fail to realize that pedigree matters. And that's what you were talking about. Some
Mhm.
people's pedigree is just government assistance, and that's just your pedigree, and that just is what it is. That goes back to me saying about some people, there's just the haves and there's the have-nots, and it just is the way it is. You have to have both for balance. Like, you can't have one without the other. And pedigree really matters, because if you were just born to a mother who was on welfare, who was born into a grandmother who was on welfare, who great grandma was on welfare, chances are that's just going to be your pedigree. Chances are your child that is born is going to be on welfare. It's pedigree. It just is what it is. And I feel like we don't take that into consideration enough.
Well,
You know?
you know what they say? They say like a fish will grow to his tank. You know what I mean? So if a fish is in a small tank, the fish will stay small. But if the fish is in a big tank, it'll grow to be a big fish.
Government's fault.
So I think that that's what happened with a lot of these generations. You know, the welfare was the small tank,
Mm-hmm.
and you know it might have took 3 or 4 generations for somebody to finally have the vision to be like, I'm going to college, or I'm going to get a successful job, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna learn a trade, because
Mm-hmm.
somebody had to break out the small tank and think they was a big fish, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And that's, I think that happens a lot. You know what I mean? Like we fall victim to it because we know some people that's living large in the hood. You know what I mean? Like living better than a lot of people. You know, they got. I know somebody who got a basement look like a bunker. You know what I mean? With the goods. You know, but they comfortable. That's where they want to be. They don't see themselves being anywhere else, and that's cool. You know, that's your life. That's the thing you want. Like, I would move back to the city, and live there. You know what I mean? I'm not going to live everywhere in the city because not every neighborhood is as progressive as I need it to be because I don't spend enough time at my home, and I need to know my home is safe when I'm not there. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But I think, I don't, I think like we just got some people that have no vision, no foresight, and have no plan for the future. They only living for today, and they're what is destroying our city. By the time they get a vision, they went away for 5 years.
And their vision was broke by everything that we talked about in the last eight episodes. Like,
The government, yo.
yes, that's what. Like, yo, it is
If y'all don't know, Amir got a big, real deep beef with the government. Just FYI, I need y'all to know.
because this is the reason. I read the quote, so this is why. So we kind of talked about mental health, and I'm just talking about healing. We kind of talked about it a little bit in a group chat. And so I read something earlier, and I'm pretty sure you guys heard this quote before too. You can't heal in the same environment that made you sick. And so when I read it today, I'm like, okay, if that is true, then the government, this is just another argument to the government. The government must pay for the broken minds of of the spaces that we're talking about to leave that environment. They need to get them out of the environment because otherwise they're not going to heal.
The government is not interested in healing us, though. So
Nah,
that's the thing. We're looking. The problem, and this is the only reason why I say let's not put everything on the government, because by us making all of our problems the fault of the government, that's also leaving us to look for the government to fix all of our problems, and that's not what they're there for. So if we don't ever take any accountability for our own problems, then we're always going to feel like our remedy is outside of us, when it's really not. In some aspects it is, because some people, their minds are just so warped that like is no saving them. But some people, it's just kind of like, if you decide one day that you no longer want to live the life that you live in, you have the ability to change it. And I don't give a damn what the government got to do with it. You have the ability to change it. If you've been on welfare all your life and you decide, you know what, I don't want to be on welfare no more, you can devise a plan, the planning that we talked about. You can devise a plan and you can literally get yourself off of welfare. Some people think that the day today I decide I don't want to be on welfare, I'm supposed to be off tomorrow. It don't work like that. It takes time, especially when you've been doing something one way for so long. It takes time for you to go the other way. But like Life was saying, a lot of people can't see past, their own forehead to be like, all right, I got 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, however, to invest in changing my trajectory into what I want it to look like. But some people just be like, nah, fuck it. Like, it just is
but
what
why
it
am
is.
I agree with you. I really agree with you, Shells. I really, really do. But it's just one more point.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck is my trajectory like this? I didn't ask for this. I want my shit to come out. I want to start off well. I don't want to start off unwell and then get well. Like what
The only,
that's,
all right,
that's
so the
crazy to me.
only, so if we really want to get down to the nitty gritty of it, that's the conversation that you need to have with God, because he's the one who born you into the dynamic that, because we could have been born rich Palestinians in Dubai. Like we could have been born rich white people in down south. Like, you get what I'm saying? We could have been born into any other trajectory of life, but we were born into this one, and I believe we were born into it for a reason. So I mean, for real, your gripe sound like it's with the man upstairs. It don't sound like it's with the government. He
So
the reason why our trajectory is what it is. Like, we were born into this life.
I gotta
I
consider.
think the devil had a little bit of play in that.
The only way to do it is, I mean, rest in peace. I ain't saying it's gonna happen to all of us at some point. We're gonna have to die and start over. We're gonna have to die and like be born, and hopefully we be born into a better situation.
So I'll say this. I believe that you could trace anything that got to do with black people back to the government as far as conspiracy.
Hey.
No, seriously, because if you chase,
y'all know I'm an activist, but y'all is taking me out now.
Nah, this is real. Our people is fucked.
I believe that, like, any ills that happen to our people, and like, imagine if one generation of your people trajectory was changed. Whether it was your grandpa, your great grandpa, you know what I mean? Somebody's trajectory was changed. That continued down the path. It's like, when I think Amir put in the group about the people that was free during slavery, black people that was free during slavery, or the people who had a chance to run when Rosa Parks was coming back to get them. There's been so much brainwashing and conspiracy. You got black people that love Trump right now, all because he gave them stimmies. You know what I mean? Like, so it's all. There's a conspiracy behind everything, and a manipulation behind it all is what I'm saying. Like, perfect example, they cloned Tyrone.
Listen, I get what y'all saying. I understand. Y'all know I be like wanting to upper the government too, because I feel like they are responsible for a lot of things. However, I feel like in reality, like it's just way deeper than just the government if you really think about it. Because for real, that's almost like what y'all saying is almost to say that we were always impoverished. I know y'all heard the term before. I don't remember who said it, right? I can't. I'm paraphrasing, but it's kind of like tough times make strong men make rich children. Y'all know the cycle. It's basically like you have tough times that make strong men, and then you have strong men that make wealthy kids, and then you have wealthy kids that make entitled kids or something. I'm making this up, and then entitled kids make tough times, and then tough times. It's all really a cycle. For real. We just happen to be born in the generation where our people are in the tough time, because we weren't always. So I can't say that like everything that we going through, we were born. You know how they say our generation was the last generation who played outside. Like, you know how if anybody, Amira, you're familiar. I don't know if you are, like, when it comes to astrology, we have something called cusps, right? Our generation were born on the cusp of the bad times turning into the good times. You get what I'm saying? That's why our children, like the life of your son is probably living a life different than what you lived because you were born on the cusp of the tough time, who made the strong man, which is yourself, who made the wealthy child, who your son 9 times out of 10, he's going to grow up and he's going to be something. He's not going to experience the trials and tribulations that we experienced growing up because he's born into a different generation. He's born into the generation that are they're the wealthy kids. They're the kids who are wealthy. And a lot of us, even when we look at the kids, a lot of them will probably be wealthy and they will probably be entitled, who will probably, not be as mindful with the sacrifices that their strong parents made to give them the life they live, and then in turn will piss it away, and next thing you know, they'll create hard times for the next generation, who will then have to be the people to create the strong people who, you get what I'm saying? So it's all really a cycle. So I do understand that certain dynamics that we're living out and like right now that we've experienced have a lot to do with the government, but I just feel like for real, it's just where we happen to fall in the circle of life. We just happen to be the strong people. Like we the strong people. Like
I love your point, but I gotta be like a bear. But you know what I mean? So let me put it this way: there are so many subliminal messages in television, radio, everything. But who regulates those things? The government, right?
I mean,
But all right, so let me give you a prime example. When you watch
art is not regulated, in my opinion. I feel like it just depends on where we go to look.
No, but
where are we going to look? We literally are three people who were on a team of people who created a movie that we could have told any story that we wanted to tell, and the government had no regulation on the story that we told. What story did we choose to incorporate in our story? So we can't say that, oh, the TV and the media, yes, that's all controlled by a bigger party, but I feel like at the end of the day, nobody controls art.
No, but you got to think about it in mass consumption. When we think about it that way, because I'll say this: when you look at commercials that are geared towards black audiences, you ever notice that there's only one parent, or that that is biracial, or that is there's always hip hop music playing, or whereas we're subliminally fed these things over and over, and that was why They Clone Tyrone was so important, because it fed into the stereotypes like, oh, how we gonna get them to listen? Oh, we gonna go to the black church. We gonna give them grape Kool-Aid. We gonna put mind control in the perms.
But it's so funny. It's so funny though, all this that you saying though, because in 2023, I'll say 2023 because we fresh in 2024. Niggas don't drink Kool-Aid no more. Let's be clear.
Shells. See.
There are some people who drink Kool-Aid. Do you drink Kool-Aid? Do you have Kool-Aid in your house?
Shells.
I drink
Do you have Kool-Aid in your house?
Listen. I'm gonna say this.
I know.
Do you like
Kool-Aid? I be drinking it.
Have Kool-Aid in your house?
Shells, let me explain.
Do you have? All right, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you finish.
I don't have Kool-Aid in my house.
Amira, do you buy Kool-Aid and do you keep a picture of Kool-Aid in your house?
Not in my house.
But okay, so 3 out of 3 people do not even purchase Kool-Aid and keep Kool-Aid in their house. So let's not sit up here and act like we the the masses. When was the last time you had a relaxer, Amira?
I don't relax my hair.
Like you don't relax your hair either, but you locked up. So clearly you on the team natural team. I haven't had a relaxer since. Well, I had a relaxer one time when I cut all my hair off and I did a pixie, but the reason why I ended up going Jane Doe, a full fade, is because I hated the way my hair felt relaxed, so I just cut all of it off. But I say all that to say, I get the point that you're trying to make with They Clone Tyrone, but a lot of them dynamics don't even really exist in our culture anymore.
They do. You just got to understand that we're the outliers. We're the outliers. Because
I got one for you.
Because you think about it this way. We're all right. You live in a suburb. I live in a suburb. Amir's, in the hood. Now,
I'm in the hood. Just so y'all know.
Listen, I feel like I'm in a sub-hood. I'm in a sub-hood. The
now,
sub-hood.
if you go to the hood, 9 out of 10 gonna have Kool-Aid because that's what's in the community. That's what they got at the corner store. They don't got the options. Like, I try to go into the hood and surprise myself and hope that they got certain things, but they just don't. You know what I mean? They're not going to market to them like they market to the people in the suburbs. You know what I mean? So Kool-Aid is more of a quantity in the hood. You know what I mean? So I think
something.
So you want to know? You want to know what my? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say one thing, and I feel like it's a little bit to life. And Shelly, you talked about it before in another space. So I'm watching this new movie. It's a 2024 movie. It's called Role Play. It came on Amazon Prime. I checked it out or whatever. And this is not the only movie that looks like this. Most movies do look like this. It's a white woman, or if not, this particular movie, Role Play, was a white woman. The dad was a black man, like not like I can't tell if he's black like that. You can tell he's black. He's a black man. It's a white woman. They're married. They have children. Their daughter is either fair skin or white completely, and their son is a black little boy. And I'm just really confused by it because I'm like, I'm not a scientist. I don't really know how it really can DNA really do that. But I'm like, ain't no way that white woman could push out a whole true black boy. And so it made me think, like I said, I don't know everything, but it made me think. It made me think, okay, something about these people who is controlling the media that really idolize the whole true black man. Just the black man. And the black man must be with a fair-skinned woman or a white woman. And that is something that always get played on my TV. We do have the movies where because there's exceptions where Kevin Hart plays with, she's a model. I think she's a model, or she was a model. Tika. I think her name is Tika on Ride Alone. There's that dynamic where it's two brown skin. That happens sometimes, but most of the time it's not. It's really just a black. But do you want to know?
Do you want to know why that happened in Ride Alone? Why? Because the person who created that movie was a black man.
Yeah, most of the time it's really not like that. So
again, is it that? So you want to know how I feel about the dynamic? I go back and forth with this, but you want to know what I charge it to? You know how they say, what came first, the chicken or the egg? And that's a question that nobody can ever answer. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Mm-hmm. When I look at the media and the things that are being made, the music, the movies, all that kind of stuff, are the people emulating the media, or is the media emulating society?
So
that's literally what came first, the chicken or the egg, because I kind of look around and it's kind of like, again, I'll use us and the piece of art that we collectively created. In that moment, when you're a storyteller, you have the ability to tell any story that you want to tell, right?
Not according to Cat Williams.
I was one of these people who was totally against putting a shootout in the movie, because I've said, we literally are here and have the ability to tell any story that we want, and we want to tell the same ghetto fucking story over and over again. Why do we have to have a shootout? Why do we have to have a drug dealer? So is it the media pandering to us, or is it us just living how we live it and them just capitalizing off of the way that off of society being the way it is? The media is not forcing interracial relationships. When you look around you, all you see is interracial relationships. So therefore, the media is going to create content that is reflective of the society that is trying to get them to subscribe to.
So how did homosexual? So I want to make one more point. So in the most recent years, since Empire, mostly when I started to see it rise the most, in the most recent years, we have seen a lot of homosexuality online, on media, on movies. More, it has to be a homosexual scene on a movie, on a show. It has to happen. It wasn't happening before. However, there were homosexual relationships. So I do feel like, and what I'm trying to say is, I do feel like there is a force somewhere that's trying to make
So
this idea be
I
prevalent
feel
more than
like
it needs to be.
I don't I feel like no, what I feel like it is just that the the media is, so if you have homosexual people, right? Mind you, there's always been homosexuality since the beginning of time. Now, there was a time when it was something that was frowned upon, so a lot of people hid it. It wasn't something that was out in the open, so you didn't see it.
Mhm.
Now, homosexual people are saying, I'm here, I matter, and I want to be represented. So now you're starting to see the commercials and the movies and the music is starting to reflect what society is starting to look like. I
so
don't think that now, do I think that what they decide to push to the masses plays a role? But again, it's the chicken or the egg, which one came first theory. I believe that, I don't know, but I'm just saying, just as well as the media could be pushing narratives to the people, the media could also just be emulating what society is doing at large. Because where do we get our stories from? When you think about storytelling, everybody on here is a storyteller. When you have a story, where do you get your story from? From what's going on around you, for the most part.
so
You're not just pulling your story out of thin air.
I think that a couple things. One, I think that like you said, Shells, is about representation. But representation only matters because you're trying to hit demographics, which too results in financial um, factors. So I think that really two should be one. So what comes first, the chicken or the egg? The money. Money comes first. You know what I mean? Because money is what drives everything. So when you watch a commercial now, they try to hit on every category. If they don't hit on every category, you know, you'll see uh, a Tide detergent commercial. The person might be black and gay, you know, with a white person walking by, and then somebody that looks biracial or could be of some type of Latin descent,
Mm-hmm.
all in the same commercial because they're trying to hit on the demographic because they want you to know that this product is for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So money comes first because when it was white dollars, money still came first because everybody in the commercial was just white.
Mm-hmm.
So money comes first, representation comes second. But they're driving a narrative for certain demographics, to push because why don't you believe in you know two chocolate people could be married? Why don't you believe that two light skinned people could be married? Why it always have to be one and one? So they're trying to force a narrative. Why don't you see more black men married to black women or being praised for doing it? You know, they're trying to create this narrative. White women get these black men, and then they want to glorify them. You know, they, but then they vilify. Jonathan Majors, he gets vilified. You know, no matter what the circumstance was, he got vilified, and he ran from her. You know, and
Well, that's what he get. You want to know why? Because he should have never been with her. He should have ran from
yeah,
her when she
but
tried to bag him.
yeah, but
So again, So
I,
I say
so
so is that them creating that narrative, or are they just pandering on the narrative that
no,
people are creating on their own? Because they
that's the
know what
narrative
telling these black men to go run around here with these snow bunnies. They doing that because
because
they want to.
that's the trophy.
But why are they doing that?
Because
I
that's
feel like you are absolutely true about this, Shells. But why?
so that's
Because
the
they don't value what it means to be black, because they know that black people are
And
at
where did
a
they
low
get
no.
their
position.
value
Listen.
from?
As a man,
The
when it
government.
comes to white women, it's a trophy. It's a
Yeah.
trophy. You know what I mean? It becomes some like Dr. Umar said it on the Joe Budden podcast. You start to travel in these circles where white people are now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the hood, ain't no white people like that.
I
And
said that. Remember, I was talking about proximity.
yeah, so now that you're making money, you're in proximity to these rich white women, and they become trophies. Like, oh yeah, I'm knocking down X,
Yeah, I
Y,
know
Z.
a man that left his woman, left his wife
So
for someone over this
and
because
then
he's happy to have that.
you get into a situation where you just supposed to been dipping your toe in the water, and now you done jumped all the way in, and then you end up in a situation like that. People are like, would you mess with a white woman? No, because I want to allow myself to get in that position. You know what I mean? Where is even any? I'm no. I will go through 1 million black women and still not be tired of black women before I get into a relationship with a white woman. And let me explain this. First of all, if I'm going to get a woman who I can relate to and she white, I would take a 4 black woman first, meaning on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll take a 4 black woman before I take a 10 white woman any day.
You want to know what's so crazy though about that whole white woman black man dynamic? I said this. Black men really be thinking they be doing something, but for real, y'all only date the bottom of the barrel white women though. Like, but it just goes to show how much y'all value whiteness, simply because even the bottom of the barrel white woman you put over a black woman.
Exactly, and that's the problem because it
But
became.
you want to know why you wouldn't date a white woman life? Because you
Well,
love your mother.
I do.
I always say a lot of black men who date white women is because they hate their moms.
Listen,
They hate their mothers, and they want to date the furthest thing away from their mothers, so they go white.
I could date the furthest thing from my mom, and she still be brown.
No,
It's,
but I'm just saying but you
no, no,
love
I'm
your
just saying,
mom.
like,
If you hated your mom, you would probably date a white woman because you want the furthest thing from your mom, like the complete opposite. You literally don't like your mom.
first of all, white women ain't got no top lip. You know what I mean? I don't
I
care.
feel like
Now, not with these injections. Now they got top lips, they got asses, they got hips and
I mean,
thighs and
yeah, they
titties.
got color. I mean, they
No
got a lot
Kim,
of different things going on.
no
I
Kim
mean,
Kardashian with the tanning booth in the office. Like,
listen, for me, I just feel like I'm gonna take it back to where Shelly put it when she started off with family. Now, I just want to this full disclaimer: to each his own. I do what you will, what is in your heart,
Not in
right?
my house.
However,
I wish my son.
Listen, my
however,
house.
You bring
these
home the
are the
black
Listen,
one.
look.
reasons why I feel like maybe you shouldn't. Maybe all right. This is what I'm trying to say. Dating outside of your current dynamic that's actually already broken, kind of sick to me. I so if you can't even, to me, I just feel like you can't even get this dynamic together. I mean, and then so you ran from the situation. That's why we got so many fucking problems. You running from the problems, you won't fix them, and then you go take all that you have over here into, you know, a privileged, a more privileged situation. To earlier today, I was listening to the Amanda Still show, and she had on there the side effects of deconstructing deconstructing a Karen, and these two women basically go talk to white people and basically dismantle them, just let them know like you're acting white and you're acting privileged. And I'm bringing it up just to say that we need so many different things to happen in our particular culture and community. And for those who do choose to leave the family, leave the home, and go over there and give to a more privileged space, it's just breaking down the dynamic even more. And just for the sake of it, because we're here, I blame the government. And that's it.
So look, you know what's crazy? I must have like this permanent look every time I see a black man with a white woman, or I see a black girl with a white man or something. Because me and my son, we was out. We went to the movies and everything Saturday, and then we went to eat afterwards. And this black guy walked by with this white woman, and he was carrying a baby, and I gave him this look that I didn't know I was doing, but it must have been a look of disgust because I was just like damn, bro, like I'm just disappointed. You know what I mean? Like because you know why not our queens? Like I get you gonna go through like you have two bad relationships. Like nigga, you was corny.
Princess and Prince,
You
passenger, Prince.
you was
Princess. Listen, I was at work yesterday. Y'all know I'm at the front, so I see everybody that come in. He was like a god, okay? Tall, he had to be like 6'3", nice build, handsome, look good, kept himself clean. He like, oh, I'm looking for somebody. I think they already here. And I'm like, all right, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why he walked down to the corner of the bar and greet the snow bunny? I wanted to go smack the dog shit out of him. And that was just like, it would be you, this beautiful specimen of a black man that you are, coming down here to this fucking snow bunny when you in this establishment with all these beautiful black people. I just don't understand.
I also segueing into what one of our other topics that we was discussing. It's a mental thing. You don't love yourself enough to want to love your own kind of people. So you're trying. Some people. It's such a thing as called whitewashing yourself. You know what I mean? Which is you get with a white person and hope to whitewash your legacy by having these babies who would then have more babies, and to the point where you wash the blackness out of your legacy. You know what I mean? Just like you see some light skinned people that only date light skinned people because they want to keep that light skin thing going.
Can I just say something though? And this is just for like I ain't gonna hold you though. When we talk about like the masses though, right? And you saying like we're the outliers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of it has to do with the mind of the black person who is dating outside their race, right? Simply because the masses of us are not as healed or as mentally elevated as the outliers. There aren't many of us who have the sentiment that like us three on this thing share. So it becomes challenging when you are a black person of an elevated mindset and you want certain things in life. It does become hard to connect with somebody of your own race who has that same mindset, simply because a lot of us are really screwed up in the head. A lot of us are really screwed up. And it gets to a point where do you want to be an employee at Build-A-Bear? Because not everybody has the capacity to want to, as a woman, not every woman has the capacity to want to remother a lot of these broken men who weren't mothered to begin with. And a lot of men don't have the mental capacity to want to teach no woman how to be a wife. Nobody wants to deal with Sexy Red. And hopes that their elevated mindset will at some point wear off on Sexy Red, so that Sexy Red will become give me somebody, y'all.
Nia Long.
A Nia Long. You get what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of Nia Longs out there, but
I love
however,
the ladies from the 90s though. What happened? Speaking of Nia Long, the ladies from the 90s all represented some type of eliteness
Just
and class.
don't put Holly Berry in that mix.
Monsters Ball.
Nah, because she, you know, she was one of them ones because you know her mom is white and she married the
Oh, and
Europe.
she biracial, right?
I always say, you
Yeah,
are whatever your mother is. If you're mammy white, you're white.
you know she married the dude and had a baby by the European guy and paying him child
Oh,
support.
he got
And
paid child support and all that.
yeah,
A nigga would have never took her for child support
never.
ever. But at the end of the day, I say to her, just like I say about Jonathan Majors, that's what you get.
Yeah, because listen, nigga was good. Nigga car is valid all day, every day, bro. What you gonna say? I smashed Holly and got a baby by her, bro. That's all we gonna put up. I ain't gotta have no money, bro. What you got better than that? I smashed
Right.
Holly and had a baby by her, bro. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
good. Niggas
just,
gonna buy me drinks for the rest of my life.
just, just think about it, right?
That was
Us
my
being in the elevated spaces that we're in, right? Well, I would say we probably all would like a more elevated like situation, a more elevated life, do more elevated shit. A lot of the people around us that are of our same complexion look at a lot of the elevated things that we like to do, and they be like, "Oh, that's that white people shit. That's that white people shit." If you a person and you like to hike, most of the people I can speak for myself. One of those people who I like to go out to nature trails and walk. I like it. Most of the people who look like me around me think that's that white people shit, right? So if I'm looking to connect with somebody who is into that, it's gonna be hard. Not impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not even gonna say it's hard. I will just say it's much easier to connect with a white person on some white people shit, right? Because they don't think that it's some white people shit. But we tend to think that it's some white people shit. So it's just like I feel like, listen, I still love all my black people, but I am gonna turn my nose up at you if I see you with somebody that don't look like us. I am. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna be like,
but
this
that
nigga or this bitch. Like,
you know what it is? We talked about this in one of the other episodes. It's them controlling the narrative. Because how did everything become white people shit when we was doing it first? We was
Right. That's how I was trying. That's what I'm saying. It's not
like
white
we
people
was out
shit.
here
It's
hunting,
my shit.
we was out here
Right.
hunting, tracking, and taking these walks through the woods. You know, women, you know, because men, you know, they always talk about like when it came to hunting, men went out and tried to hunt animals, but they didn't always come back successful. So while the men was out hunting animals, women was out there gathering berries and fruit, and you know, so if there was nothing else to eat, we was out there. You know what I mean? There was something to come home to. So when we talk about, you know, being one with nature, we were there. We were the ones
Barefoot.
create
We've been grounded.
herbal
Like what?
herbal remedies. We invented rock and roll, and then it got whitewashed. We did
Right.
like we did country music.
you wanna know what I think it is too? Not even that it's whitewashing. The problem with us folks is that and it's a gift and a curse. And this is why I don't understand how the picture is painted that we are such savage, terrible human beings. Because for real, the problem with us is that we don't gatekeep our shit. So we allow everybody else to come in and take what we created
But
when
you,
it's just kind of like,
Why? Because first you get the money. Like said. So why the I feel like yes. So this is why I feel like the impoverished have it the worst. Because you cannot just where we live at. I don't really don't truly believe that it takes money, but the dynamic takes money. So I'm just going to talk on a dynamic. It takes money to make this thing be a whole big boom past just us three, a massive thing or whatever. So first you got to get the money, then you get the respect. So our stories, yes, we have our stories, but they are very, like when I went to the African American Museum, yes, they were 17,000 free free blacks during the time of when slavery first was happening, when they were bringing over them into the Americas or whatever. And all black people aren't poor. All black people aren't struggling. However, that's what's being
echoing.
My fault.
However, that's what's being thrown to us by the people who have the power. And why you got the power? Because you got the money. And that's why I feel like, I do think that there are ways. I feel like everything we're talking about is just levels of the whole situation. Like,
so
we're just talking
let me
about
ask you
different
this.
points of it.
Would you say that capitalism is more prevalent than racism?
You know what? I would say that. I do believe yes, people are very much so very, very racist. However, I do feel like in today's world, in 2024, as a black woman, I've experienced racism, but I also have experienced freedom right in front of a white person, like right in your face, like that. So what I'm trying to say is, do I feel like in the 1800s where I probably would have got whipped or killed or anything? I do not feel like that. But do I feel like I'm under the constraints of capitalism? Yes, the fuck I do. All day long, every day. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah,
because like there was a point where we just couldn't ascend financially because we couldn't.
Right.
But ever since they've made it to where as though black people can have more freedom, I feel like it become more of a capitalist thing than it is a racist thing, simply because like we don't have to be poor. Like we don't have to be poor. Like there's nothing in place, and this is why I say I don't want to put all the blame on the government the government, because there's nothing in place now more than even ever before, with the invent of the internet and social media and the world marketplace and everybody's interconnected. You really don't have to be poor,
right,
if you don't want to be poor. So I just kind of feel like we choose to be poor, one, because we're ignorant of the opportunities that we actually have, and two, because we just feel like it's just better to not know and pretend you do know than to admit that you don't know and actually learn. Like, I just feel, I don't know. Like,
and because we don't want to combine, like you said in the beginning, I think all three of those points is actually very much so valid. Like, we you know what I mean? Like, we just not there collectively. We are growing though. If one mind is, one thing that they say in slavery time is each one teach one. So if one mind is growing, another mind is growing, because whatever we share here, I'm always sharing somewhere else. Like, oh yeah, we was talking about on politics as usual. Yeah, and I'm always, and if I'm not sharing what we're sharing here, I'm probably sharing something. So like, we are growing, and that was one thing I was like, I just took a notice at my journey. I'm like, I just looked at my journey and put it into full perspective. I was like, my journey basically in one song is slow motion for me. Like, it's
slow motion better than no motion, baby.
It's happening, but it's just like, you know what I mean? It's a little rock. It's a rock of a baby, like, or whatever. But I do feel like, minds are awakening, lifting up. And like you said, I like one thing you said, Shells, was really banging, was that nobody controls art. Meaning you can create your art. You could do anything, any masterpiece. What is being controlled is you know, and controlled in a way is you sharing your, well, not even sharing, because you could just put your art on social media just for free. But what I mean by that is like, like if okay, I'll use content creation for an example. Content creation for Target. If Target backs you, you will grow more. Is basically what I'm trying to say. As opposed to if I create this big masterpiece, I mean it's fucking top tier, but I'm Amira B, and I have a small following. Like if you and everybody who knows me might think like, yeah, she got it, but like it's only a few people or whatever. So maybe everybody won't ever know. But if Target backed me, then everybody knows.
You're right. But then if Target backs you, that's the epitome of what we were talking about, the media, the masses, the media that's being controlled. Because at that point, if Target backs you, Target owns you. Because they're not just backing you because they just think that you're that good. They're only backing you because they feel like what you have is profitable and they can profit off of it. So my thing is, and this is where capitalism comes at, because we're capitalists before we're racist. Not before, more than. We're capitalists more than we're racist, because we would prefer to be owned by Target just to have the bigger backing than to just simply put our stuff out there for the people that it gets to and let it organically, go where it's supposed to go. I just think about things where it's kind of like when you think about Mozart and you think about like Nietzsche and you just think about all these prominent, and Basquiat, and just all these prominent artists and musicians and people who, I'm not gonna say that there wasn't always machines, because there's always a machine. As long as there's a government and there's money involved, there's always machine behind it. But it's just kind of like when you think of these people, most of these people didn't rise to fame until long after they were dead. They were gone.
Like you
It's
think
the
you could
real and the raw.
I'm sorry, Joe.
I think that wait, what happened? Did I miss something?
She was asking you to mute because all we kept hearing was the noise of you driving.
Oh, my bad.
But go ahead.
I'm sorry, you can talk.
I was saying the real,
I couldn't get it.
The realness and the rawness of art is something that is going to, in my opinion, art is going to like outdo racism and capitalism. I feel like, but beautiful. I feel like because we live in such a capitalist society, everybody does everything for money, not simply because they want to tell this story or they want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a firm believer that nobody controls art. Nobody controls art. Art is free. Everybody has the freedom and the liberty to create the art that they want to create, to tell the stories that they want to tell. It's just all a matter of, what stories you want to tell. Again,
right.
We had the opportunity to tell any story in the world, to create a narrative, any narrative that we wanted to push, but we still had a drug dealer and a shootout. So is that somebody? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It wasn't. No, that wasn't a. It wasn't no drug dealers inside the movie.
Yes, it was. What you call it was a drug dealer. What's his name? What's his name?
Who?
What was Dean's friend? Dean's partner, remember? Because that's how the whole shootout happened in the club. Because he was doing unsafe things on the side, and all Dean was trying to do was just be legit. It was we literally told like the Tommy and Ghost story. Yes, it was a drug dealer and a shootout. And I kept saying, why are we having this shootout?
Yeah.
Why do we want to have somebody getting shot? Why is somebody getting shot?
And that's where we kind of compromised and didn't have the actual gun being shot, but we just heard the noise.
But it was still a shootout.
Yeah.
Somebody still got shot in the store. There was still somebody doing shady business. But is it the media that's pushing these stories, or is this just the environment that we live in? And so this is the stories that are being told? Because in that moment, we had the ability to tell any story that we wanted to tell, and we still put somebody getting shot in. And I just don't understand for what.
Why I know why we did it is because Brian's whole mission is to rise above his circumstances, and so the circumstances has to be told to see what he's rising above.
His only circumstance that he was rising above was the fact that deemed him to take over the security business, and he wanted to be a photographer. The shootout had absolutely nothing to do with anything. We put that in there for whatever reason, and I don't even understand. But that had nothing to do with any of his circumstances. Because the storyline was him wanting to be a photographer and Dean wanting him to be security. Mm-hmm. That was the circumstance. The shootout was just some other shit. That had absolutely, it was, you know how Cat Williams was talking about some unnecessary shit being somewhere and it didn't have to be, like when he said, oh, they wanted Dave Chappelle to wear a dress, and it was kind of like, that doesn't even really have anything to do with the story. Like, the story can still be told and you can still make your point without having this in there. The shootout didn't have to be in there. We could have still made the point. But that's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying that to say, where I say the people who create the art and they tell whatever story they want to tell. You have when you're a storyteller, you have the opportunity to tell any kind of story that you want. So the stories that are being told by people who are telling stories because maybe that's what they feel like is going on around them. Maybe we feel like because where we come from it's always a shootout, it's always a gun, it's always a drug dealer. So that's a story we want to continuously tell. But it's just like, is the media controlling? Is the media pushing these narratives to us? Because that's what we're seeing, but that's what again, music, right? And Leor Cohen. Dame Dash always talks about Leor Cohen. He's a culture vulture, and I get it, I understand. However, he's only responsible for putting the music out that is being brought to him. And I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm not saying he's not a culture vulture because I feel Dame 100%. At the end of the day, you niggas are the ones who are making this music. He, as a person, as a capitalist who only cares about money, because life said money always comes first, as a capitalist who only cares about money, he don't give a damn how detrimental it is to the culture. If you niggas gonna make the music, then I'm gonna put it out. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, that's their art that they're creating, and they're choosing to tell these stories. Sexy Red is choosing to tell this story.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. Shows in the form of, as Black folks with more freedom than ever before, we have the right to evolve our stories, which in turn we will see more of our people in elevated spaces if mm-hmm. we wrote more elevated stories.
Mm-hmm. And we have, and especially in a time now where the media, those giants are still there. However, but we live in a direct-to-consumer environment now. Mm. So you don't have to really go through those checks and balances that you used to have to go through to get your stuff out to people. You literally can create something and you can get it to the people all on your own. We kind of don't really have those middlemen. Now, if you want to go through the targets, like you mentioned, if you want to go through the targets because you feel as though you don't feel as accomplished if you're not backed by a big giant, then that's your choice. And at that point, you have to create art in the parameters that they say is okay. But we don't live in those times anymore. Like you said, you can create whatever you want and you can get it out to people just by simply posting it on your social media. Now, mm-hmm. do they have certain algorithms that push certain stuff over the others? Yes. However, if your shit is good and you pick up enough traction, then you will get, a decent following. And are you doing it to tell the story? Are you doing it to get your message out there? Or are you doing it because you want to be a capitalist and you want the 1 million followers so that you can start getting endorsements and checks? So it's just kind of like...
So I was going to say that. I think that you got to choose why you do it. Do you do it for the love or you do it for the money, or a combination of both? Because
combination of both.
I was just watching.
Are you here for a paycheck? Are you here for your passion?
Yeah, I was watching this thing on
YouTube. I said 3 Ps.
And they was talking
passion,
about
purpose, paycheck.
They was talking about how They were saying black people don't go to the movies, but black people only support what they want to support. Like, they was talking about the Book of Clarence, the other movie with the guy Jeffrey Wright, where he's like a fake, he's writing this fake book. You know what I mean? Where he's like being real ignorant and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying we don't support in that it with the intent of making movies like that popular because is it do you need to make 50 million or are you cool with 12 million if you had a $2 million budget? And you got your movie out. So like it was like the whole thing with Cat Williams and Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is like no, Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey don't get into the back and forth because he's like he don't do comedy no more because of who he is as an entity. It's,
Mm-hmm.
it's too much money involved in it for him to financially say anything that will lose him a dollar.
Right, because he's a capitalist before he's black. He
Yeah,
is a
that
capitalist before anything.
So I want
Michael
to
Jordan with
say
the
this
girls.
about.
Capitalist.
I want to say this because we talked about a few things, and one of the things was, working hard to achieve money for bills, right? So I'm not gonna talk about the guys who made it already. I'm gonna talk about the guys who didn't make it yet or in a space of trying to make it, right? And what I notice and what I feel for what I feel for black people is that we are also very much so tired. Even if we didn't have to fight the good fight hundreds of years ago, we still got that.
Hundreds, baby. That was only like 80 years ago.
Right. So even though we didn't have to fight the good fight, well, I'm thinking 1900, 2000, so that's like 2 centuries. So I'm thinking like back to the 1800s or whatever. But outside of that, we didn't have to be there. But
Civil rights is
we still have a lot of that. We are still our ancestors. We are still connected to our lineage. So I like that you brought up family. We are very much so our bloodline. And so what I'm trying to say is those who, haven't got a chance yet are getting tired of fighting the good fight. And Taraji spoke on it too, who we would think that she actually made it. However, she expressed herself, and we see that she's fighting really hard just as much. And so I'm bringing that up to say that, yeah, okay, maybe that's true. All right, boom, I got this nice piece or whatever. I'm doing footwork. Doing foot. I know people who's doing footwork for 10, 15 years and still didn't get the plug. Why? Because they didn't get the plug. I don't know why. God is in control, like you said, Shells. But I know people 15 years putting in the footwork still didn't get the plug. I could only imagine if the plug come in like Target saying, well, you know what? We're going to drop this on you. And now you get to stop working so hard. And now you can actually deliver some of your creativity more than trying to put
but
in
why
the
do we
footwork
feel like
of all
that?
of this.
Why do we have the mindset that if Target comes in with a plug, then you get to stop working so hard?
Not stop working so hard, but what I'm trying to say is so definitely what I'm trying to say is this. And some of this will help if what we talked about in the beginning, if we actually started combined, but it's nothing like we talked about. It's not much to combine because a lot of people around us actually don't have anything to put in. But if we were in a predicament where we could combine different people using their skills and resources to make something work and grow, we're not always in that space. So that means you have to be 7 people at one time, right? And so what I might have a piece of art, I'm really good at art, but I'm not really good at marketing my art. And do I want to sell my art? Yeah, I do want to sell my art because it costs $1,000 to buy a cow, and a cow is going to feed me and my family or whatever. And so, it's kind of like that dynamic. I feel like yes, yes to a lot of things, but also what about the workings of a thing
You
that
know,
go on
cancers. You
inside
know,
of it?
cancers are huge capitalists, right?
You always say that, Shells, but I don't
They
agree.
are.
I don't agree. I don't agree, and I don't agree with that, and I write it everywhere. I'm a very rich girl. My name is rich. It's not, I'm born rich, so
Capitalist.
I'm gonna be rich. I am
Capitalist.
rich, right? But
Listen, it ain't
outside of
nothing wrong with it. I ain't mad. And we live in a world where you know, again, the haves and the have-nots. Some people are haves, and some people feel like,
yeah,
you
I
know,
feel
the
like
amount of money they have equates to their success. Some people don't. So it's just kind of like, I feel like for real, it just depends on, like Life was saying earlier. Some people are just content with where they at. Some people feel like they need to be rich. Some people don't feel like they need to be rich. So I just feel like people just do what they feel as though is best for them. I definitely feel like cancers are extremely capitalist people, but that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. Y'all are capitalists because y'all are very, very, very extremely moved by money. Y'all are moved by money.
no, I don't think so. I think that we
I mean,
are
all you
a
talk
type
about is
of
being rich
people.
and getting money. So come on now. Let's be real. You
Why?
love money.
Because
You want a lot of money. Do you not?
yeah, you
Okay,
know
that's
why?
capitalist mindset. You want money. You like money, money, money. You like this. Well, who was it? Who was it? Money, money. Yeah, yeah. That's capitalist.
Freedom,
Like, listen. You already know.
freedom,
I know a lot of cancers, and y'all
freedom.
are money, very money oriented.
Freedom. I like
I,
freedom, and I don't like nobody to control me. And we talked about money being able to control. I like to control me. I like to control my
So you
environment.
would
I
have.
like to
So you
I
control
were a
think,
everything
capitalist.
around
That's
me.
why capitalists get money. Capitalists. It's
but
okay.
you know what
I
I
don't
think it
agree,
is.
but okay,
People,
sure.
when it comes to the art, people have a belief that in their art that the world should see it. And in them wanting the world to see it and believe in their product just as much as they do, sometimes they compromise and they sell it so that it can get to the masses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you do something specific to get your name there. You know, like Dave Chappelle did the Dave Chappelle show. But once he got to that point and he became financially free, he never went back. You know, now he can just do tours, little, you know, the picnic, the Dave Chappelle picnic, the Roots picnic, all that type stuff, and he's comfortable because we know he could have been way more well off if he had done the dress thing or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they would have threw a bag at him at that time. So I think we come to these circumstances where we hit a crossroad. You know, do your morals stand tall, or do your finances take precedent? Because I always say, um, all money ain't good money. You know what I
Not
mean?
at all.
I would rather Picture Boy have a positive message and impact on people than for us to conform to a stereotype. You know what
And
I mean?
being backed by Target means that they own you, so you're not free.
Yeah. So
You're even more in bondage
yeah,
for the
because all
check
right.
than you would be if you had less money and you
So
still
this
owned your.
Right.
so this is a valuable lesson. You ever do Caesar from Black Ink?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So he was explaining that they were Black Ink before they went on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Fact.
What happened was they rebranded them as the Black Ink Crew. Now he thought he owned it because he owned Black Ink.
Uh-uh.
He didn't own anything, he said, because the paperwork all said Black Ink Crew, which was the name that VH1, the chick Mona Scott, and all of them gave.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about like what Shell said, getting in the business with maybe a Target or somebody to that stature, they'll change one little thing around that you think, well, that's me. You know what I mean? And it ain't. And the rights to the artwork you created, the whatever you created belongs to them.
Mm-hmm.
A la Prince. when he went by the symbol for years because they took his name.
That's
Yeah.
why he was the artist formerly known
Yeah.
as Prince.
So, you know, things like that happen. Or you see the same person come out with 3 different names on 3 different albums because they kept having to sell their name. You know what I mean? Like,
So it just becomes, it comes to a point where it's like Life was saying, is it your integrity or is it your bag? So it's kind of like people have this misconception that the more money you have, the more freedom you have, and that's not necessarily true because, like Life said, all money ain't good money, and sometimes people sell their soul for a bag, and then you're really not free. You're really actually in more bondage than somebody who don't have no money. Somebody who has absolutely no money has more freedom than a person with a lot of money because you're so tied up in all these contracts and deals and this and this and that. You really be slaving for the rest of your life just because you're so tied up in contracts and business deals and all that, just because you want to have all this money. So it's just like, not necessarily having a lot of money doesn't automatically equate to freedom. Sometimes it's more bondage.
Like,
I feel like this. I do feel like this, and I share this with other people. I feel like if you are young, you have your youth. I feel like you should use your youth to work. I feel like we are all here. Everybody may not feel like it, but I feel like it. We are all here to add a contribution. And that happens through your work, whatever it is that you do. And so I feel like if you have your youth, you should be using it if you can, to add whatever you want. And I do like a retirement plan. I do think that that's one thing that that's in place, that should stay in place. They kind of raised the age a little bit and they need to bring that back down. But I feel like at a certain age, okay, I did my work. I use my youth to do what I do. And I feel like you should be free. Like, at a retirement age, you know, and if you retired early, then that's so amazing for you or whatever. But, you know, I don't necessarily think that there's anything wrong with working in your youth. But I do think it's crazy.
I don't think it's ever anything wrong with working. I feel like the problem becomes when you're doing something that you don't want to do. That's slavery. Now, if you're doing something that's just like the cliche phrase, but it's so true. If you're doing something you love, you never work a day in your life. I'm all for work. I don't ever want to stop working. I feel like true freedom is just having the ability to choose the work that you do and to be something that you actually want to do. Because so many people are working jobs that they hate.
Yeah, and you got the ability.
For one of them people. I hate my job, but I get up every day and go because, you know, bills got to be paid, money got to be made. So I'm working towards freeing myself of doing a job that I don't want to do.
And you got the ability to walk away.
Shit, I don't work 17 jobs at one time. I'm exaggerating, but it was probably like 3 or 4 at one time. So I ain't no stranger to danger, but it's just me wanting to do something that I actually want to do. I want to do something that I want to do. I don't want to do nothing that I don't want to do anymore. I feel like that's true freedom. Freedom isn't money. Freedom is being able to do what you want to do.
Yeah, you have the ability to walk away when you want to walk away.
Do what I want to do. I don't want to do this. I want to do this. So I'm going to go do this. That's true freedom for me.
I agree, Shells. I totally agree. Now, how do you break, or I don't even know if that's the right word. All right, I want to be able to do what I want to do, but I have to, my rent is $1,450. Now what I'm supposed to do?
You got to create a plan. This is what I want to do. This is what I need to do to be able to do that. So if this is what I need to be able to do what I want to do, then this is what I got to do it. It really, that's why I always say it literally, if you create a plan, you can literally make any transition that you want to do. I was just talking about this earlier, right? And I was talking about depression. I said, depression is really you knowing that you want to do something and you not doing it. That's depressing as fuck. I said, it's depressing to me every day to get up, going to a job that I know I don't want to do. And I haven't done anything about it when I know that I can. I literally can. I literally can change my job. I can. There's nothing or nobody stopping me from changing my job to something that I want to do. The depressing part about it is not the fact that I'm doing a job that I hate. The depressing part about it is that I'm not doing anything about it. That's depressing as fuck to know that you can do something about changing your dynamic and you not. That's depressing for anybody. That's just like if you fat and you don't want to be fat no more, and you know that you cannot be fat if you literally just created a plan and discipline yourself, but you're just not doing it. Being fat is not the depressing part. Being fat and knowing that you're not doing anything about it is what's depressing. That is the problem. Not changing your situation when you know that you can is the real issue. This is why I just be like mad at myself. I hate my job. And I say this all the time. I don't like my job. I hate doing what I do. But every day, but I haven't literally created a plan to get out of it. So I'm depressed. The fact that my dumb ass is really sitting here continuously going to do that I hate,
a plan,
and I have not created a plan to change it.
You did though, Shells. Well, you may have not created it intentionally, but you do things to move yourself out of the space. You'll be out of there soon.
I definitely will. I definitely will, because I'm doing things. However, I have not created a plan, so the things that I'm doing don't guarantee me to be out of this job. They're kind of just like taking up space to help soothe the depression of me still being there, because without a plan, nothing's going to change, for real. Because at this point, I'm just doing a bunch of extra shit that doesn't really have an exit plan. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have not said, you want to know what? I'm going, I know this is not what I want to do. This is what I want to do. So I want to do this. What do I need to be able to do this? Let's just say, okay, I want to be a lawyer. I'm just use that as an example. I want to be a lawyer. That's what I want to do. What do I need to do that? I need to go to college, then I need to go to law school. I haven't even enrolled. I haven't even taken fucking English composition. So am I really doing what I need to do to get here? No, I'm not.
So
I just go to Wilson's every, 2 days a week just to make myself feel better about the job that I really hate. Instead of, why am I going to Wilson's? Is Wilson's getting me to become a lawyer? Absolutely not.
I think it's a need versus a want thing. Like, we all have needs, but we have wants, and sometimes our wants outweigh our needs. Because when we break it down, what do you want versus what do you need, like, to sustain the life you want?
I feel like I need to do a job that I actually care about. I need to do a job that I enjoy. That's a need. And maybe I was misusing the word want. Needing to do a job that brings you joy, that's a need, in my opinion. Because like Amira said, to the day you die, there's always going to be some kind of work. It's always going to be work. So in order to live a fulfilled life, you need to do a job that you love. You need to do a job that brings you joy. If you don't, you're going to be miserable. Like me, I'm miserable. Y'all, I'm miserable. Okay? I'm miserable. I hate my job.
Listen,
what you want to do, Shells? I mean, the world is yours.
I left corporate.
It is. And that was depressing, because all this time I've hated my job for quite some time now. And I haven't created a plan to get out of it.
Listen, I left corporate to do this. Like, to, because I needed to just want to help, or to not have the necessary responsibility. Like, I did it. I've been doing it. It messed up my marriage in some aspects, and it didn't mess up my marriage in some aspects. But I did it so long that I'm just like, I'm to the point where, all right, I'm financially stable working this way. I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I don't want, like, I'm cool working the way I'm working now, because I can sustain. It's giving me everything I need. But I feel you, Shell. Like, you have a need, and that's God pushing you in a direction. You know what I mean? That's the noise is becoming so loud that you got to move.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't take too much more of the noise till you finally move.
I be like, bro, I'm finna quit or get fired. One of two things gonna happen.
Yeah.
Get fired. That's a government thing.
Girl, that's what I'm saying. And I ain't gonna quit. You gonna have to push me out. You gonna have to push me out.
So let me
Listen,
let me
sometimes I be feeling like, people look at being fired as a bad thing. Listen, fire me, because that gives me time and freedom to be able to pivot into
At
what
least
I
6
really
months to be like, all right.
so
right.
let me dispel a rumor. You can still get unemployment when you quit a job.
Really?
Yeah, you can still get unemployment.
I know it.
You just gotta wait longer. You're not gonna get approved. And this is the other thing. When you get fired, you're less likely to get unemployment because they're going to say you were a bad employee. They shouldn't have to pay you type thing.
Right.
So it's typically the 6 week wait. It's the 6 week waiting period that most people can't live through. So
I didn't know that.
when you initially go through getting unemployment, you gotta wait. You get the first phone call, and if they approve you, you get it automatically.
So that
But if
means
you,
I just need to have 6 weeks worth of expenses to cover, and then I'll be good.
yeah.
Boy, don't tell me that I will put my 2 weeks notice in tomorrow.
So or when you think about it, if you quit on an off week, you're still getting a half a check, but you're already 1 week into unemployment. You know what I
Like, you
mean?
sound like you did this before.
Let's thought this out,
Well,
okay?
so like I said, when I was corporate, I would have these issues with employees. You know what I mean? And I like the employees, so I never went against them. They the VP or somebody call and say, hey, listen, I need you to get on this call for the unemployment. And I say, oh, okay, cool. The such and such, whatever needed to be said to be in their favor, I said it.
I'm finna quit due to my mental health, because mental health is big right now. Y'all can't deny
Yeah,
me from that.
yeah,
I
and
had
you'll
to
get.
quit because my mental health.
And
That-
I think unemployment has been extended. Now, when Obama was in office, it was only 6 months,
Hmm.
but I believe unemployment was extended during the Trump administration. So you have those options, but a lot of time people just can't. Imagine trying to, if you was already living paycheck to paycheck, imagine trying to go 3 more paychecks
Yeah, that's
without any
true.
unemployment. So then the other thing is, the reason people don't make it is because if you've been at a job long enough and you ain't invested in a 403 or a 401, that's another reason why you shouldn't quit. Because guess what? If you invested in your 403 or your 401 and you quit, that is the money that would have held you down
Right.
during during the 6 weeks.
Hmm.
So I think that's what people miss. That would have held you down during them 6 weeks.
Yeah. I remember
And
one time I was working at TD Bank, and I didn't even realize that I was putting into this is before I knew anything. And it wasn't nothing. It was probably only like $1,200 or something. But I'm just sitting there and I'm broke. I ain't got no job. I got this check for $1,200. Boy, I was
yes, random checks.
I can only
Yeah.
yeah,
imagine what that check looked like right now.
so
That check
that's what
feels so good.
I think people, and that's why we don't have the information. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And we got to work towards that. We can't gatekeep information because,
Mhm.
like I said, when my employees did it, and then when I got fired, give me all that. Give me
Mhm.
all that unemployment. Give me all of it. You know what I mean?
Leave it all
And,
to.
and worst case scenario, if they say you can't get it for that job, you can get it for your last job. So no matter what, you're going to get unemployment. You
Yeah,
just got to
because
be at
bro, I've
the
been
same
paying
time.
And,
into this. You're not finna tell me I can't get my money.
Yeah.
and
It's
add
my
the
money,
extra
and
more
I want
money
it
y'all was
now.
getting at the top of the
It's my
pay
money,
period.
and I want it now. Okay.
But
Speaking
let
of
me
this,
get
we
off this
off topic.
line.
But I
I
seen
will
the book
holler
of
at
the.
y'all.
All right, life, peace.
I like
All
Because I came late. Amira, do you mind chatting for a little bit more?
great combo. Yeah, I was going to share with you that I'm actually. Did you ever read his
Flip it
Victorian
upside
stuff?
down. Flip
wait,
it. Flip it. Flip it
artist,
again.
one more time.
Artist way. Okay, yeah. No, I have
Oh,
not. All right, life. We love you. Have a good night. Be
All right, love
safe.
y'all too. Talk
Peace.
to y'all.
love you, life. Have a good
Love you.
night. I'm crying. Not to flip it around. Yeah. So I actually started reading this at the top of the year.
Mhm.
And it's geared to help ignite or connect you back to your artist self. Um, and I like that you brought. I'm bringing it up because you was talking about art. And I decided, I've been bought this book, but I decided to do it because I felt like my creativity was getting stale or whatever. So, and I do want to say, since I've been reading it, I've actually been having sparks of creativity. Like the rhymer inside of me is coming back too. Because that's one person that I really like. When I think of all my writing, I'm like, I like the rhyme when I write or whatever. So it's been coming back, and I'm like, yeah, like nothing big and juicy came out yet because I've written big and juicy pieces before, and I was trying to figure out.
It's frozen. What happened? I think her phone might have died. It has to be a dead phone because that's the only thing that would do that. So, since I'm here with you all by myself, I just want to thank you for getting this far. I know that we live in a world where it is like a bunch of shorts and everything is just real chopped and screwed, and people don't really do long form content anymore. But someone said, and I agree wholeheartedly, that the Cat Williams interview was the epitome of people still divulging in long form content if it's meaningful and if it's valuable. So I just want to thank you all for making it this far. Everything that we talk about on here is, informational, it's inspiring. We just talk about wanting to just do better and be better. That is what my brain and lighten up is all about, just continuous improvement, continuous striving to just be better, like just enlightening up your life in all aspects. So I want to thank you all for being here with us. If you could just like and subscribe, it would help us out immensely. We want to get to the point where we can go live because we want to be able to politic with you all. We want to be able to hear your comments and questions and concerns about anything that we're talking about so that we can engage with you all. Because politicking is all about community. It's all about us getting together and chatting and, just really, politicking as usual. So if you could please just like and subscribe this video, like this video, I'm sorry, subscribe to our channel. We just want to hit 50 subscribers so that we able to go live with y'all. So tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe, to just help us out. It would, we would appreciate it immensely. I'm not sure what's going on with Amira's video. She frozen, but I'm gonna keep it going until she come back on because I'm pretty sure I think her phone died, but if her phone dies, she'll probably be charging it up and logging it back on. So I'm not even going to stop. So we talked about a lot of interesting things on here, and we just talked about one of the things that I want to just indulge a little bit more is about art and being an artist. I feel like there's an artist inside every single one of us. Daily, we all create something. Some of us have the capacity to be able to put it out there for the world to see. I always quote something that Erykah Badu said. She said, keep in mind that I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. Some of us are extremely sensitive so that we don't put our art out there for the world to see. But I just feel like